How was school today?
Oh, I can't talk about it now, Papa. I'm on my way out and I'm late.
Oh.
Well, hello, darling.
Hello, Nat. Say, why is it that Patty's always rushing off somewhere? She's never at home anymore. I've never seen anybody run around like that.
Oh, don't you remember when you were that age?
I was never that age.
Oh, it's hard to remember, but we all were. We always had a million things to do, and there were never enough hours in the day.
Yeah, but in our day, we had to spend some time at home. I mean, the only time I know I have a daughter is when I get my phone bill.
Aren't you pleased that Patty's popular?
Well, of course I am. But she's popular with me, too. You know, I'd like to sit down sometime and spend a whole evening with my daughter.
Well, that'd be nice.
I'd like to find out how she's doing in school, what her problems are, what she looks like.
I'm sure she'd enjoy that.
Maybe I should make an appointment with her.
Now, it's not as bad as all that.
Do you know the last time that I sat down with Patty and had a heart-to-heart talk with her?
No.
Neither do I. Well, we're going to have one tonight.
Oh, but darling,
My daughter and I are going to spend the whole evening together, talking, exchanging ideas.
Bye.
Meet Kathy, who's lived most everywhere, from Zanzibar to Berkeley Square.
But Patty's only seen the sights the girl can see from Brooklyn Heights. What a crazy pair! But they're cousins, identical cousins all the way. One pair of matching bookends, different as night and day.
Where Kathy adores a minuet, the ballet russe, and crepe Suzette.
Our Patty loves to rock and roll, a hot dog makes her lose control. What a wild duet, still they're cousins, identical cousins, and you find they laugh alike, they walk alike, at times they even talk alike. You can lose your mind when cousins are two of a kind.
Don't tell me. You're running away from home.
No, I'm spending the night at Wendy's. Mama said it was okay. Do you mind, Papa?
Oh, I don't mind. It's just that, well, I had thought that you and I could spend a little time together this evening.
What for?
I didn't know we had to have a reason. I just thought it might be fun to talk.
Oh, well, we can talk anytime, Papa. But not tonight. Wendy's having a slumber party and everybody's going to be there and I'm already late.
Yeah, well, it's all right. It'll be all right tomorrow night.
Well, tomorrow night, Rich and I are going to an ice hockey game.
Oh.
Would you like to come?
oh, your father catches cold at hockey games.
That's too bad. See you in the morning, Mama.
Good night, darling.
Papa.
Bye-bye.
Well, it's getting late.
Yeah, I know. I'd like to enjoy my daughter before she gets married and leaves home.
Well, I didn't mean that kind of late. I meant I have a PTA meeting, and I'd better get going.
Oh, you have a meeting tonight. See, there's an interesting new art exhibit over at the DeMere Gallery. I just thought maybe we could go on over there and see it.
Oh, I can't miss this meeting, darling. I'm the chairman. We'll go another night.
Sure.
Your dinner's in the oven. All you have to do is heat it. You'll be all right, won't you?
Oh, of course I will. I'm a grown man.
I'll be home early, grown man.
Hello, Uncle Martin.
Oh, hello, Kath. Say, are you interested in seeing a new exhibit at the DeMere Gallery?
Very much.
Good.
Rock is taking me.
Oh.
Would you like to join us?
Oh, no, I don't think so. Thank you, though.
Well, I'd better be going. Rock is very sensitive about being kept waiting.
Well, good night, Kath.
Good night, Uncle Martin. I believe there are some good television programs on tonight.
Now, don't you worry about me, Kathy. I mean, I don't have to watch television to be entertained. I'm perfectly capable of entertaining myself.
Good night, Uncle Martin.
Good night.
Night, Cat.
Oh, hi, son.
Hi, Dad.
Listen, how'd you like to go to the movies tonight with me?
I can't. I'm going to a rumble.
A rumble?
Yeah, the Boy Scouts against the Girl Scouts. So long.
York City. Early rain, partly cloudy, cool. Temperature range 34 to 48. East winds of gale force at 20 to 35 miles per hour. Tomorrow,
Hi, Papa.
Oh, hello, Patty. Listen, I made a point of getting home early tonight so that you and I could spend a little time together.
Oh, gee, that sounds great, Papa. I'd love to, but Rich is picking me up to go to the hockey game, remember? I can't find my gloves.
Oh, hello, darling. You're home early. Anything wrong?
No, everything's fine.
Say, we can go to that art exhibit tonight if you'd like.
Oh, why don't we skip that tonight? I'm feeling a little tired.
You look a little tired. Come on, sit down. Relax.
Oh, well, I'm all right, really, you know.
Martin, I think you've been working much too hard lately.
Well, it has been a pretty rugged week.
It's been a pretty rugged year. You can't go on pushing yourself like this, darling. You're not getting any younger, you know. Why don't you take a little nap before dinner?
I'm too tired to nap.
Hey, sis, aren't you going to that hockey game with Richard?
No, Ross, I'm staying home tonight.
You can go to a hockey game? What's the matter with you?
Not me. Have you ever taken a good look at that poor little old man down there?
What poor little old man?
Your father. How much longer can he have to live?
Ages.
Oh, don't let that brave expression on his face fool you. Deep down inside, he's a worn-out shell. He's been trying to tell me, but I wouldn't listen.
Trying to tell you what?
Keeps asking me to stay home, not to go out. It's pitiful. And I wouldn't listen. I said, I'm too busy, Papa. I've got to go to a slumber party and a hockey game.
Oh, Patty, you've got your life to lead, and he's got his.
Well, from now on, it's going to be different. I'm going to be a real daughter to him. I'm never going to leave his side.
Good luck, Dad.
I'll get it. Hi, Rich.
You're not going like that, are you? You'll freeze.
I'm not going at all, Rich.
What do you mean you're not going at all? I already paid for the tickets.
You're the last of the great romantics.
My father worked hard for my money.
There is something a little more important in life than money.
Yeah? What?
Love.
We're staying in tonight?
Get that glint out of your eye. I meant the love of a father for his daughter.
Well, I don't feel that way about you.
I should hope not. But my father does. Look at him, Rich.
Looks fine to me.
Look at all those gray hairs. Yes, 7. I counted them.
So what, 7 gray hairs?
The beginning of the end. It's nature's way of saying you've had it.
I guess when they start to get decrepit, they go pretty fast.
It's pitiful.
What am I going to do with the extra ticket?
Why don't you take Sue Ellen?
Are you serious?
Oh, why not? I can't see you for a while, maybe a whole year.
You mean you're going to spend the next year with your father?
Richard, he's dedicated his whole life to me. It's the least I can do for him.
It's funny, Patty. I always say that nothing you do can surprise me, but it always does. I'll go to the game alone.
Hi, Papa.
I thought you went out with Richard.
Oh, I changed my mind. I thought maybe I'd stay in and we could talk.
Sure, honey. What'd you have on your mind?
Nothing. What'd you have on your mind?
Nothing. You mean you just want to talk?
That's right.
Well,
You know, Papa, we're like ships that pass in the dining room. We see each other, but we never really get a chance to sit down and get to know one another. You know what I mean?
I certainly do.
Well, from now on, that's all going to be different. We're going to discuss everything. Really communicate. What'd you like to talk about?
Everything. Boys, school, your problems, your ambitions. How much time do we have?
About a year.
Dinner will be ready in 5 minutes. Feeling better?
I'm feeling great. I just had a nice talk with Patty.
Patty who?
Our Patty.
I thought you went out with Richard.
No. She decided to stay home and spend the evening with her father.
Is she feeling all right?
She's feeling fine. We had a very nice chat.
Oh, about what?
Oh, about everything. For instance, did you know that Patty is up for the lead in the new school play?
Yes?
Well, I didn't. Did you know she's captain of the school debating team?
Yes.
I didn't. Well, anyway, we talked about her future plans and her ambitions. I have a feeling I'm really getting to know her.
Oh, what are her ambitions?
Well, she says she's either going to be a practical nurse or an astronaut.
It's interesting. Maybe she'll be a practical astronaut. Oh, listen. Fran Gordon called. She asked us to a dinner party Friday night. Everybody's going to be there. She's having that fabulous new couturier from Paris, and she's asked that man that you're always talking about. The one who won the Open Golf Championship.
Sebring?
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, I've been wanting to... Well, I can't go.
Oh, do we have another date?
I do. I'm taking Patty to a Let's Beat Hudson High bonfire rally.
Hi, Papa.
Oh, hi, Patty. Have a good time.
Oh, I'm going to. With you.
What?
I'm staying in tonight. We're going to spend the whole evening together talking.
Well, that's great.
How'd things go at the office today?
Oh, at the office, fine.
How'd they really go, Papa? I think we should have conversation in depth.
Conversation in depth?
Sure. We don't have to be superficial with each other. Did you have a terrible, exhausting day?
No. As a matter of fact, it was rather a pleasant day.
Oh.
Gee, I'm sorry, honey. I wish I had some problems for you.
That's okay, Papa. You will. Hey, I made some great plans for us.
What kind of plans?
Well, Friday, you're my date for the pregame rally. Saturday, I'm taking you to a drag race on Long Island. Monday night, you're going to watch me rehearse in the Seagull. And Wednesday night is jukebox night at the Shake Shop. How does all that sound?
Fine.
I knew that was make sense. And that's only the beginning, Papa. From now on, it's the togetherness bit all the way.
Fran called. She was sure sorry we missed her party. She said it was fabulous.
Yeah?
She said Mr. Sebring gave golf lessons to all the men there.
He did. See, I'll bet he could have helped me correct my slice. You know, if I could lick that, I could beat Eddie Sheldon every time.
Does he usually beat you, Uncle Martin?
He's a very lucky player. Yeah, I better get going. I told him I'd meet him in 20 minutes at the clubhouse.
I'm glad you're able to play golf every Saturday.
Yeah, so am I. I look forward to it all week.
Hi, Papa. All set?
Oh, yeah, I'm all set for what?
The big drag race.
Drag race?
Don't you remember? Rich was dying to take me, but I told him I was going with you.
Oh, well, of course, on Saturdays, honey, you know,
I told all the kids I was bringing you.
Well, actually, Patty, it's the one day in the week.
You should have seen how jealous they were. Their fathers don't take that much interest in them.
I'll get you Eddie Sheldon's phone number.
Are you sure you won't change your mind, Patty? You love jazz, and Toot Henderson's gonna play.
Toot Henderson, he's fabulous. I'd love to see him, Rich, but I can't. It'd break the old man's heart. He needs me.
For what?
You wouldn't understand, Rich. I've really gotten to know him like a book this week.
Couldn't you read him tomorrow night?
You know, I'll bet most kids never even look at their parents. I mean, really look at them. Home is just a bank and a restaurant. But parents are people. You know, I know it's hard to believe, but Papa was once a teenager just like us.
Yeah, that is hard to believe.
You know, I've spent more time with him this 1 week than I have in 5 years. The minute he walks in the door, I'm right by his side.
Patty, you don't think you're overdoing the daughter bit, do you?
Overdoing it? Being with my own father? That's how little you know, Rich. I'll bet this has been the happiest week of his whole long life. And I don't mind making the sacrifice. Let me know how it was, huh?
Yeah, sure. Good night.
Night, Rich. Well, back to the old folk.
seen Patty?
No.
Well, listen, would you mind if I read my newspaper in here?
Why, of course not, dear.
I haven't been able to read a newspaper all week. Every time I come through the door, she grabs my arm. She doesn't let go until bedtime.
I know.
You know, she's a compulsive planner. Do you know why I'm not playing golf with Eddie Sheldon on Saturday?
No, why?
Because there's a scuba diving contest at the YWCA swimming pool.
You're going scuba diving?
No, I'm the judge. What can I do?
Well, why don't you put your foot down?
Well, how can I? I'm the one who asked for this. I can't reject her. You have no idea what being with me means to her.
Papa? There you are, Papa. I've been looking all over for you.
Have you?
Yeah. Come on, I want you to hear a new beat. Will you excuse us, Mama?
Certainly.
Come on. Oh, come on, Papa. You'll really take us right. Isn't that Marvin?
Marvin.
Called the flip-flop. I'll teach you.
Great.
You know, Papa, there aren't many fathers as interested in their daughters as you are.
Well,
Clothes, hairdos, gossip.
gossip?
Hey, this is gonna send you right into orbit. Seal and Sam have lost it.
Lost it.
Yep, they split. Larry, her old beau, found out that Seal was doing a solo, so he decided to ditch Babe, the girl he was going with. Babe was always had a burning passion for Sam, so when she heard about Sam and Seal, she called up Sam and made a date with him. When Seal heard about that, she decided to bag it and let Sam cool it in the DF, but it was soft wax, so she called Al, Sam's brother, who's going with Tilly, Seal's best chum. And when she dropped the shell, it was egg all over everybody's face. Isn't that the grooviest?
The grooviest.
You know, it's a great item for the Brooklyn Heights Bugle. I'll be right back. Excuse me, Mama.
What was all that about?
I'm not sure, but I think we just had a conversation in depth.
And you should have seen him do the flip-flop. I was really proud of him.
Well, if I ever asked my father to dance, he'd think I'd gone crazy.
Sue, when was the last time you talked to your father?
This morning.
Yeah? What'd you say to him?
Good morning, Father. Oh, and can I have an increase in my allowance?
That's what I mean. When was the last time any of you really talked to your fathers?
I can never talk to my father. He always starts screaming.
I don't have anything in common with my father.
I think what Patty's trying to say is that we should make an effort to have something in common with our fathers.
What for? It's the old world.
That's exactly it. I think we should be nice to them while we have a chance.
My father works harder than anyone I know. And I don't think I've ever even bothered to say thank you. Excuse me. I want to go make a phone call. My father's always asking me to stay home, and I never do. I think I'll go pick him up at the bank.
I didn't even remember last Father's Day. I'll see you all later.
Maybe it's my fault he always yells at me. I never thought of him as a human being before. Thanks for opening my eyes, Patty. I'll see you.
Well, Patty, it looks like you've really started something. You know, Kath, I've done some pretty great things in my day, but this has got to be my finest hour.
Yeah. Jonathan, look, I assure you we didn't have anything to do with it, Jonathan. I guess Richard just decided he likes you. I'm sorry you feel that way. Well, we have the same problem here with Patty. Good luck to both of us. Let me know how it turns out, okay? Right. Goodbye.
What was all that about?
That's Richard's father. It seems that Richard wants to go away on a camping trip with him, just the two of them.
Why, that sounds wonderful.
Well, Richard's father doesn't think so. I've never heard a man yell like that. It seems that Richard hasn't let him out of his sight for the whole week. He's going crazy.
I can understand that.
Well, I wonder what got into Richard.
I don't know, Nat, but there's some kind of a revolution going on. That's the fourth phone call I've had in the last half hour. Teenagers won't let their fathers out of their sight, and the parents all feel that Patty must be at the bottom of it.
Aunt Natalie, have you seen Patty?
No, I sent her out to get a prescription filled for me, Kath. It can only be filled at a drugstore way uptown.
I I understand.
Kathy, Richard's father just phoned. It seems that Richard is staying by his side day and night.
I know.
Is it possible that Patty's responsible for this?
Yes. You see, Patty feels that fathers are being neglected.
Well, I'm very flattered that Patty wants to spend all this time with me and that she never leaves me alone for a minute, but, how do I turn her off?
I don't think you can, Uncle Martin. But you might try turning Richard on. Papa?
21, 22.
Papa, what are you doing down there?
I'm just doing a few push-ups. 24, 25. Oh.
Papa, a man your age should take it
God,
easy.
now, Patty. I think it's about time that we have a little discussion about my age, okay? You know, it's not that I'm old, honey. It's that you're young. I guess it's difficult for children to have a perspective on how old their parents really are. It's sort of like you're looking at us through the wrong end of the telescope. We're not actually that far away. You understand?
Yes, Papa.
Well, good, because I intend to be around long enough to say that to your grandchildren.
Papa, you better get ready. We'll be late for the scuba diving contest.
Honey, I'm afraid I can't do that with you today. See, I've got a golf date with Eddie Sheldon.
I called and canceled it.
I know. I called and uncanceled it. I also made another call. Come on.
Hi, Rich.
I came over as soon as I got your message.
What message?
Your father called and said you wanted me to take you over to the Y this afternoon.
You called and...
That's right. Wait until you hear what Patty has planned for the rest of the week.
More coffee, darling.
Oh, thanks, son. I finished the whole newspaper.
What's so great about that?
You'll never know, son.
Patty has been pretty busy with Richard.
I feel like I'm on a vacation.
Good night, group.
Good night, dear.
Good night. Are you going out again tonight?
Yeah, Rich and I are going bowling.
Gee, Patty, you've been out every night this week. I think you should stay at home once in a while.
But, darling, they're playing in a tournament.
Yeah, but I haven't seen her all week. I mean, what's the point in having a daughter if she's never at home? But in a few years, Patty is going to get married.
Here's Kathy, who's lived most everywhere, from Zanzibar to Berkeley Square.
But Patty's only seen the sights a girl can see from Brooklyn Heights. What a crazy pair. But they're cousins, identical cousins, and you'll find they laugh alike,
They walk alike,
at times they even talk alike. You can lose your mind when cousins.
I'll get the salad ready.
Can I help you, Aunt Natalie?
Oh, thank you, darling. Everything's almost ready.
Hi, Papa.
Oh, hello.
Hello, darling.
Hello, Nat.
Anything wrong?
Oh, no, everything's fine. I just had the worst day of my life.
What happened?
Well, you remember last week when the students rioted up at Hudson College and they pulled down the statue of the founder and put a pair of panties on him?
I remember. It was a case of spring fever.
Spring fever, my foot. That was juvenile delinquency. Well, I wrote an editorial about it on Monday. Yesterday, some smart aleck sent in a letter to the editor. He signed it Rebel, and among other things, he accused me of having the mentality of a dinosaur.
Martin, you've been a newspaper man all your life. You're not going to let one letter bother you.
I wish it were one letter. Mail has been pouring in all day from the kids, and most of it supports Rebel. We haven't had that much mail on an editorial in years. A little while ago, Smathers called me into his office and asked me what I was going to do about it. I looked like an idiot.
Darling, tomorrow this will be yesterday's newspaper.
Well, I may not last until tomorrow.
Come on into the kitchen. Talk to me while I finish dinner.
I'm not very hungry.
You know something, Cap? I've never seen Papa so upset. You think he's upset? I'm Rebel.
Locals live most everywhere, from Zanzibar to Berkeley Square.
But Patty's only seen the sights a girl can see from Brooklyn Heights. What a crazy pair, but they're cousins, identical cousins all the way. One pair of matching bookends, different as night and day.
Where Kathy adores a minuet, the ballet russe, and crepe Suzette.
Our Patty loves to rock and roll, a hot dog makes her lose control. What a wild duet, still they're cousins, identical cousins, and you find they laugh alike, they walk alike, at times they even talk alike. You can lose your mind when cousins are two of a kind.
But how could you do a thing like that, Kathy? You're always old, solid 4 feet on the ground. Patty, I had no idea your father wrote that editorial. It wasn't signed. I didn't agree with what it said, so I wrote to the letters to the editor column. And started a whole international incident. Oh, brother. Patty, what am I going to do? That's a switch. You in trouble and asking me for advice? Will you stop gloating? I can't help it, Kathy. It's very funny. Well, it's not funny to me. If your father finds out that I wrote that letter, he'll be furious. Okay. Okay, Kath, cool it. I'll put the little old gray cells to work. Now, let's analyze the facts. Fact 1. Papo's in hot water at the newspaper office. Fact 2. You put him there. Patty. Sorry about that. Look, Kathy, there's really no problem. If Papa finds out you wrote that letter, you're in trouble. But he's never going to find out. Yes, he is. How? I'm going to tell him. You flipped. No, I haven't, Patty. The only way to handle this is to be honest and direct. Do you want my advice? Be sneaky and keep it undercover. Kathy, you heard what Mamo said. By tomorrow, this whole thing will be yesterday's news. If I don't tell him, I'd be dishonest. Oh, if you do tell him, you're a nut. Will you listen to an expert? What makes you an expert? Well, do you know anyone who gets into trouble more often than I do? No. Mr. Editor is at war. If you go down there now, you'll be shot down in flames. I'm sorry, Patty. I have no choice. Sometimes I wonder if she's really related to me.
There. Here's tomorrow's editorial. There has been a great deal of mail in support of the letters signed Rebel. Now, most of the letters generate a lot of heat, but very little light. This writer is not opposed to freedom for teenagers if it is coupled with responsibility. But being a teenager does not automatically confer a license to behave badly. Rebel should pull his head out of the sand and take a good hard look at what's happening around him. Now, Rebel called this writer a dinosaur. Perhaps it's Rebel who is living in the Stone Age. You might call him a Neanderthal ostrich. How do you like it?
That should do it.
What do you think, Kat?
Yes, that should do it all right.
Did you want to see me?
No, it can wait, Uncle Martin. He called me a Neanderthal ostrich. So? You called him a dinosaur. Well, I didn't know who I was calling names. Neither does he. You know, it's wild. You two love each other, and you're slinging mud at each other like crazy. Here, you've paint on your nose. You know, this would make a great Doris Day Cary Grant picture. Patty. No, really. Cary Grant is the editor of this newspaper, and he's running a campaign against a female politician. And Doris Day is a female politician. Yeah, she's, the mayor of this town she comes from. And Cary doesn't know that. Right. Patty, I am not Doris Day. How am I going to get out of this? Just leave it to your brainy cousin. Oh, come on, Kathy, relax. Let's call the boys and tell them we'll meet them at the shake shop. I wonder how you get in touch with Cary Grant. Oh, hi, Carmine. Yeah, I saw it. Hi, Rich. Hi, Ted.
Hi, Patty. Have you read your father's paper lately?
Richard, it isn't my father's paper. He's just the editor.
Yeah, well, you ought to get rid of that dinosaur who's been writing all those editorials.
Rebel sure tell him off.
Your father should put a younger man in there. Someone who understands kids.
Or maybe you should give the job to Rebel.
Wouldn't that be great? We're all sending letters to the editor.
You're what?
How's this for an opening? Dear Fossil, why don't you go back to the La Brea tar pits where they dug you up?
I like mine better. Dear sir, would you please give me your space travel formula? I'd like to visit you in the 18th century. That ought to needle him.
I think you're shooting arrows at a very thin hide.
Oh, listen to this. Dear old-fashioned, I can just see you sitting in your rocking chair with a shawl around your neck, writing editorials with a quill pen.
Oh, look, fellas, do you really think you should send those letters? I mean, why don't you wait and let the whole thing blow over, huh?
Blow over? Listen, we've been attacked. If we don't defend ourselves, who will? Oh, no, I'd like to go out and lynch the guy who wrote that editorial. Oh, no, we're mailing these letters.
What do you have?
2 king-sized aspirin.
Some more mail, Mr. Lane. Where would you like me to put it?
Never mind where I'd like you to put it. Just set it on the desk. Oh, brother.
More fan mail?
Yeah.
That's quite a collection.
17th century Sam.
Old fogey.
Mossback.
Daniel Boone.
Dinosaur. Dinosaur. That seems to be the most popular one.
You know something, Martin? Since this thing started, our circulation is shot up.
So is my blood pressure.
Well, you're not taking this personally, are you?
Well, wouldn't you if you woke up one morning and found you were a symbol of the Stone Age?
Well, the newspaper's supposed to be a forum for the people.
A forum? They've turned it into a battleground. And you know, we're in a trap. The more of these letters that we print, the more we receive. And if we don't print them, they accuse us of censorship.
You know what I think you should do, Martin? Ask Rebel to step forward and identify himself. After all, he's the one who started this whole thing. The two of you should meet face to face, talk over your problems. That way you can reach some sort of an agreement and issue a mutual statement.
You know, I think that's a pretty good idea.
All right, go to it. Oh, I think you're getting a poison pen letter from my son. He's 16.
Dear Rebel, it's time you came forward and identified yourself so that we can meet.
Face to face and discuss our differences. Please telephone letters to the editor at the Chronicle or let us know where we can reach you. Sincerely, Dinosaur. Oh, no. Boy, talk about your own backyard. Why don't I join Father in Iceland? Oh, what are you worried about, Kath? You've got me for a cousin. That's what I'm worried about. You're not very grateful. Patty, I really don't have very much to be grateful for. Single-handedly, I'm destroying a whole uncle. I wonder why he wants to meet me. Well, he doesn't want to meet you. He wants to meet Rebel. Well, it's the same thing. There's one thing I'm certain of. I'm not going to answer this. I hope he doesn't put the FBI on your tracks. Poor Uncle Martin. He's got a viper in his bosom. Like Chinese emperor and empress. And then they... Where were you? I was beginning to worry about you. I had a letter to write to Father. What kind of letter? Just a letter. We'll talk about it later. No, I want to discuss it now, Kathy. You didn't write to your father and tell him you were going to join him in Iceland. Yes, Patty, I'm afraid I did. I can't live in your house under false pretenses, Patty. Kathy, what happened wasn't your fault. Things just snowballed into a disaster. You didn't mail the letter, did you? Oh.
All right, class. This morning we're going to study the geologic formation of Iceland.
Oh, there you are. No wonder you wanted to run away from home. What are you talking about? Why didn't you discuss it with me before you did it?
Before I did what?
Kathy, you don't have to play innocent with me. Look, if you didn't want to tell Papa that you were a rebel, I can understand that. But why did you have to slap him in the face?
What?
Your letter is in this afternoon's edition. Congratulations. Dear Stone Ager, I would be glad to have a face-to-face meeting with you after you publicly apologize for criticizing us teenagers. We get enough of it at home without having old fogies like you on our backs. Signed, Rebel. That's really hitting below the belt.
Hitting below the... Patty, you don't think I wrote that?
Well, it's signed Rebel.
Patty, I've created a Frankenstein.
Then if you didn't write that letter, that's the greatest thing that could ever happen to us.
What are you talking about?
Your trouble's over, that's what I'm talking about. Kathy, all we have to do is track down Rebel and hand him or her over to Papa on a silver platter.
There's no way you could find him.
Nothing is impossible to a genius.
All right, Patty, even if you did find him, I couldn't let you do that.
Why not?
Because it wouldn't be honest. I sent the first letter.
Who'd know?
I'd know. Thank you anyway, Patty.
All right, I'll do it without her. She'd hate living in Iceland.
Hello, Bobby. Hi, this is Patty. Has the Bugle gone to press yet?
Oh, good. I have an editorial I want you to run on the first page, and I want a copy of it delivered to every high school in the city. You ready? It reads, Dear Rebel, you're the greatest. We teenagers need a fearless leader.
Aren't you going to play golf today, dear?
No, I'm not in the mood. You know, I finally figured out who Rebel is.
You did?
You did?
Yeah. It's some bitter juvenile delinquent who's got a sour grapes attitude toward everything. Probably a high school dropout.
Martin, you haven't touched your breakfast.
No, I'm not really hungry.
Gee, Dad, are you gonna let some stupid kid get your goat?
It's not a question of some stupid kid getting my goat. I offered to meet with him and discuss this problem. Well, now, that was a fair and reasonable request. In return, I got a rude, unreasonable answer. I'd like to get my hands on him.
I have a feeling you're going to.
What makes you think that?
Just one of my wild hunches.
Patty, do you really know anything about this?
Uncle Martin, you mean, do I know who wrote to that letter the other day signed Rebel?
No, I have no idea, Papa. But I'm going to try and find out.
Is Mr. Smathers still upset?
Oh, he's delighted. Circulation is zooming. But then he's not the target for tonight. Stone Ager.
It has been difficult for you, hasn't it, Uncle Martin? It's not fair. I think, Uncle Martin, that you should know that the real rebel is
an idiot who talks too much. I mean, that's why he keeps writing those letters all the time, isn't it?
Why isn't he willing to meet Dad?
Oh, I have a hunch he's going to.
Uncle Martin, he's not the one who's responsible.
You're absolutely right, Kathy. I think it's the parents who are to blame for that kind of thing. Well, we better go. Kathy's going to have her head examined.
What?
Kathy's going to have her hair done. Come on, Kathy.
Patty,
Let's go.
excuse me.
You first. Keep fighting, Papa. Everything will be all right. Bye, Mom.
What would you like for dinner tonight, dear?
Saber-toothed tiger?
You better hurry up, Kat. It's almost 8, and the game starts at 8. You know how Ted hates to be kept waiting.
I thought you and Richard were going with us.
Oh, we'll meet you there. Rich called to say he'd be a little late.
Oh, well, why don't we wait until he gets here and we'll all go together?
No, that's okay. We'll see you there.
Patty, you're awfully anxious to get rid of me.
Who, me? I was only trying to see that you'd have a little time alone with Ted.
Oh, all right. Have I forgotten anything?
No. Good night. See you at the game. Yeah. Save some seats for us. Rebels are over.
Would you mind putting that in writing?
It is in writing.
What's that?
That's the trap that's going to catch Rebel.
Why, that's your school paper.
Uh-huh. Right there on the front page.
Dear Rebel, you're the greatest. We teenagers need an intelligent, fearless leader like you. We're holding a mass meeting at number 8 Remsen Street. That's this address.
That's right. Tonight at 8 o'clock.
We're having a mass meeting here?
Uh-huh. And you know who the mass is? We 3. When he reads that, he's going to come flying over here, and we've got him cold.
What makes you think he's going to read this?
Oh, he'll read it. I had a copy sent to every high school in the city.
Well, supposing he does read it, why should he come over here?
Because, Papa, he's got an ego a mile high. I analyzed him from the letter he wrote. He's conceited, rude, and cocky. He's a tyrant who's used to walking all over everybody. I figure he's tall, dark, maybe handsome in a Latin sort of way. And he's got dozens of girlfriends, but he doesn't care about any of them.
I don't know about the tall, dark boy with dozens of girlfriends, but you know, Martin, I really think this might work. You see, if he does read this, he just might come over here to take charge. He has no way of knowing it's your address.
Oh, that's true. You might have something here, Patty.
Of course I have. It's called genius. Who else could find one boy in 1,278,000? It's Richard. He's early. We're going to a basketball game, but not until we catch Rebel.
What are you going to say to Rebel when he comes?
Well, that depends on whether or not you're in the room.
Hi, Rich.
Hi, Patty. Sorry I'm late.
You're not late. I told you to be here at 8:30.
I know, but you called a meeting for 8 o'clock.
Meeting?
Yeah. Tell everybody that Rebel is here.
You're Rebel?
Yeah. I thought you knew that when you said, you're the greatest. I knew it was your editorial when I saw the address. Well, let's get the meeting started. I don't want to miss the game.
Rich! Don't go in there! I'm having a nightmare.
Hi, Mrs. Lane. Evening, Mr. Lane.
Hello, Richard.
Hello, Richard. You come here to get in on the kill?
The kill?
I think we better be going, Rich.
We can't leave now. Nobody's here yet. We're having a little meeting here tonight.
Oh, that's a coincidence. So are we.
Yeah? Well, I hope your meeting is as exciting as ours.
I'm sure it will be. I'm looking forward to it very much.
So am I.
Rich, you know, if there's anything I hate, it's walking in on the middle of a basketball game. Please, let's go.
I don't understand you, Patty. You write a whole editorial asking me to come here to this meeting, and as soon as I get here, you try and rush me out.
Patty wrote a whole editorial asking you to come to this meeting?
Yeah, my peers are looking for a leader.
And we were expecting a tall, dark Latin. Sit down, Rebel.
Patty told you about that, huh?
Not exactly. We guessed.
I felt funny about it at first. I mean, because it's your newspaper and everything.
Oh, don't give it a thought.
Then I said to myself, I'm really doing Mr. Lane a favor. The guy who wrote those editorials ought to be fired.
You mean the Stone Ager?
Yeah, I'll bet that line really rocked him, huh? Didn't it?
Richard, please.
Don't interrupt your leader, dear.
What's he like? About 75 years old with a white beard and a face like a hatchet.
No, actually, he's reasonably young and reasonably attractive.
He's handsome.
Thank you, Natalie. Stone Ager is also usually a very pleasant fellow. But when he gets angry, he has a terrible temper. And Richard, he's angry.
You're... No offense, Mr. Stoneager. Mr. Lane. I didn't know it was your editorial. Patty is absolutely right. If there's anything I hate, it's being late for a basketball game. Have a nice meeting. Good night.
Rebel. That face-to-face meeting that you came here for is about to begin.
Patty, what have you done?
How did I know you were going to use the name Rebel?
This is going to hurt you a lot worse than it's going to hurt me, Richard.
Yes, sir.
Kathy, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be at the basketball game. Ted told me about the trap you set up to catch Rebel. Did you catch him?
We caught him.
You mean Richard is...
I wish I were in bed with a broken back.
Don't rush things.
Uncle Martin, Kathy, I'm Rebel.
Good grief.
I'm the original Rebel. Uncle Martin, I had no idea you wrote that editorial about juvenile delinquents. I thought what the college kids did with that statue was rather funny. I didn't really see anything malicious in it. I thought they were just letting off a little steam. So I wrote the letter to the editor.
Kathy, why don't you tell me about this before?
I wouldn't let her. I'm a coward.
Uncle Martin, I'm very sorry about this. I had no idea it would cause so much trouble.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't have, except all the kids agreed with Kathy.
Richard.
Well, he's right, Patty.
I am?
Almost every letter we got was on Kathy's side.
What does that mean?
It means it's time that the Stone Agers and the teenagers sat down and talked things over.
That's a good idea, Mr. Stone Ager. Mr. Lane.
Oh, just sit down, Richard.
Hi, Kat. Well, everything worked out fine, didn't it? I told you it would have. What's the matter? Papa forgave you, Kathy. And he's even decided to let a high school editor take over the column once a month. You've struck a blow for all of us. You know, one day they may erect a statue of you in the park. Well, I'm afraid I won't be around to see it.
Why not?
In that letter I wrote to Father, I told him what I had done, and I didn't think I should stay here.
Oh, yeah, but that's all changed now.
I know, but when he gets the letter, I'm sure he'll want me to leave. And I asked him for a plane ticket.
Oh, Kathy, you can't leave. We're the greatest team since Barnum and Bailey. Right, together we can solve the problems of the world. We'll phone them. Do they have phones in Iceland?
I don't know.
Hi, I think that's Kathy's.
Thank you. What is it, Patty? Iceland. It's addressed to your father. Kathy? It's been returned.
You know what happened? The mathematical genius goofed. The letter's in return for insufficient postage.
Oh, Patty. Come on. Where are we going?
We're gonna pick out a site for your statue.
Come on.
Here's Kathy, who's lived most everywhere, from Zanzibar to Berkeley Square.
But Patty's only seen the sights a girl can see from Brooklyn Heights. What a crazy pair. But they're cousins, identical cousins, and you'll find they laugh alike, they walk alike, at times they even talk alike. You can lose your mind when cousins are two of a kind.
Get married till you're full 21. And don't you get married.
Patty, how long are we gonna stay here?
Shh, you're interrupting Memphis Mulligan.
Then marry some good girl your love won't forget. Come all you young gentlemen who want to be smart.
Mulligan.
Don't play.
He's really quite good.
Good. He's the heartbeat of America.
Sounds more like the pulse beat of Peoria.
Dancing around you, some favors to gain, then turns her back on you in scorn and disdain.
Where do you think you're going?
Oh, I'm going to take a little rest. When you got a throat like this, you got to pamper it a little.
Listen, Memphis, I'm paying you by the night, not by the song. Now get up there and sing.
You can get up there and sing yourself. My throat and I are quitting.
Good riddance. Who needs you?
Good. I'm going back to the farm.
Peasant.
Sir?
What is it?
Gee, that's too bad that had to happen, but, you know, you're right. You really don't need him.
Of course I don't.
I mean, especially when you can get the greatest folk singer in the whole world, Pittsburgh Patty.
Yeah, especially when I can get the greatest folk singer in the world. Who's Pittsburgh Patty?
Me.
Meet Kathy, who's lived most everywhere, from Zanzibar to Berkeley Square.
But Patty's only seen the sights a girl can see from Brooklyn Heights. What a crazy pair, but they're cousins, identical cousins all the way. One pair of matching bouquets, different as night and day.
Where Kathy adores a minuet, the ballet russe, and crepe Suzette.
Our Patty loves to rock and roll, a hot dog makes her lose control. What a wild duet, still they're cousins, identical cousins, and you find they laugh alike, they walk alike, at times they even talk alike. You can lose your mind when cousins are two of a kind.
I miss my home in the old gray west, where I grew up with leeway. They say what happens for the best. My homestead's now a freeway. Ooh, ooh. Hi, Rich. I was just rehearsing.
You're not serious about this.
Why not?
Well, I'll tell you why not. Because you're not a folk singer, that's why not.
Richard, what is a folk singer? A folk who sings.
Forget it.
Look, Rich, there's nothing to it. I go down there, I sing a few songs, and I become famous overnight. You can be my manager.
What is there to manage?
Oh, just listen to this. And knew me a man with a red-headed gal wore a yellow scarf when he called. Married her up and then he learned his red-headed gal was born. What do you think, Mr. Haley?
Crazy. And I really mean crazy.
She's the best folk singer I ever managed. How about it, Mr. Haley? She hired?
I can only pay $15 a week.
$15? I tip my barber more than that.
Richard. He's just kidding. That'll be fine. I'm not doing this for the money.
Patty, will you let me handle this?
No. Mr. Haley, I'm doing this to express myself. I'm going to be the voice of my generation.
I dig. And I can use you, too.
You can?
I mean, if you're going to be around here to manage her, I'm sure you wouldn't mind giving me a little hand.
I guess not.
Would you like to hear another song, Mr. Haley?
Sure, sure. Right after you swept the floors, cleaned up the kitchen, and set up the tables.
Oh, my client?
The two of you. And snap it up. We open in a few minutes.
Are you sure this is the way the Beatles started?
Oh, hi, Richard.
Hi, Ross.
Are you looking for Patty or for a sandwich?
Patty.
She's out.
Well, then I'll have a sandwich. You don't know where she is, do you?
I think she went to take a singing lesson.
Hey, that's a good idea.
Is she really gonna be a folk singer?
Sure, I already got her first engagement.
Yeah? Where at?
The Pink Percolator.
She's singing in a coffee pot?
Well, not exactly singing yet. It's a coffee house. When she gets through there, everybody in the country's gonna know her.
You sing too?
I'm her manager.
Oh, boy.
Every artist has got to have a manager. Even Patty.
Did you get her a lot of money?
Sure did, considering her talent.
She's working for nothing, huh?
Of course not. What do you think I am?
You sure you've got everything?
Yeah. Thanks.
Boy, I really admire you.
You do?
Yeah. Since I'm her brother, I have to be around Patty all the time. But you deliberately take her out. It takes a lot of courage.
Well, I guess it's kind of hard for brothers and sisters to understand each other. Until they're older, anyway. Well, I wish I had a sister.
You can have mine.
I'll take her.
Can I be best man at your wedding?
I guess so, if we have a wedding.
Aren't you and Patty gonna get married someday?
Well, we were, but I don't know now.
What's the matter?
I'm worried.
I can't blame you. If I was going to marry someone like Patty, I'd be worried too.
I'm worried she won't marry me.
That's wishful thinking.
You don't understand, Ross. If Patty catches on as a folk singer, she's gonna be famous. And I mean really famous.
Do you think that could happen?
Have you heard any of the folk singers around here today?
Boy, I'm glad I'm just a kid. I wouldn't have the problems that you grown-ups have for anything.
What is life? Is it earnest? Is it real? Or is it a candy Ferris wheel? Ha! If I ate feathers, could I fly? Oh, oh. Laugh, you sages. But I must fly.
I don't know if I like managing a folk singer.
Chin up, you're doing great. Oh, Mr. Haley, I'm ready to go on any time now.
You're a real trooper. Make a fresh batch of coffee.
And then?
And then serve the customers.
And then?
And then wash the cups.
And then?
And then make some more coffee.
Yeah, I dig. Oh, the life of a farmer is the life for me. Push-button cows and a new TV.
Hello, Patty.
Hi, Papa.
Hadn't you better get dressed, dear?
I am dressed.
Oh, you're going to a costume party.
In a way, I suppose you're right. Life is nothing but a masquerade. Well, this is the costume of the people. I'm earthy.
I'll say. I would suggest that you wash some of that earth off, then change into a dress, and we'll have dinner.
Papa, you don't know about American folklore, do you? Do you know Carl Sandburg's The People, Yes?
Mm-hmm. Do you know Martin Lane's That Outfit, No? Patty, you look like a poverty-stricken...
Papa, that's the look of my generation. We want to be free.
Then why are you so expensive? Joke. Hey, by the way, there's a very interesting concert at the town hall tonight. Mozart. I got tickets for all of us.
Gee, Papa, I'm sorry, I can't go.
Why not, Patty? I'm sure you'd enjoy it.
Oh, yeah, but I'm kind of going to a concert myself.
Oh? Well, at least it's not bowling or the movies. Who's playing?
A folk singer named Pittsburgh Patty.
Never heard of her.
Oh, you will.
Pittsburgh Patty. No, couldn't.
What's the matter, Patty? Oh, it's the older generation. What have they done now? They're not going to stop me from expressing myself. Are they trying to? They would if I let them. Have they told you to give up your job at the coffee house? No. You see? That's only because I haven't told them about it yet. Patty, don't you think you should? They wouldn't understand, Kathy. It's not just a job. I feel like part of the grassroots of America. You look like part of the grassroots of America. It's really very hard work. The singing? The scrubbing. Hey, you wouldn't like to join my act, would you? We could make it a duet. I'll scrub, you mop. No, thank you. I'm afraid not. Oh, don't be afraid to clutch at fame. It's such a pleasant thing. People come from the ends of the earth just to hear me sing.
Oh, moon is a word, and tin is a word. Empty sounds and din. So I have the power to change my word.
Mr. Haley, I'm ready to go on any time.
Crazy. Start with table 7.
Mr. Haley, I don't think you understand. I'm here to express myself.
I dig. You want to get to the people, right?
Exactly.
Good. Start with table 7.
What'd he say? When did he go on?
Don't look now, Richard, but I think I am on.
Where's our little beatnik this morning?
She overslept.
No wonder. She didn't get home last night till 11:45.
What were you doing up until 11:45, young man?
Me and my big mouth.
Morning.
Good morning. How was that concert last night?
What? Oh, the concert. It was great. Too short, though.
What kind of concert was it?
Folk singing.
When I was a boy, we had folk singing. It's odd how it's become popular again.
They had folk singing when you were a boy, Papa?
Yes. We used to put on our bear skins and come out of our caves and sing it up a little. You know, Patty, this may come as a shock to you, but your father is only...
That's okay, Papa. You're young in heart.
Thank you, Patty.
I mean, you really understand kids, Papa.
I tried to.
I mean, like, if I were to say to you, Papa, I think I'm going to get a job in a coffee house as a folk singer, you'd say,
No.
you're kidding.
Try me.
Oh, but Papa...
If you want to do any folk singing, sing for the folks in this house.
Some of them are quite nice, Martin.
Oh, I'm sure they are. And anytime Patty wants to drop in at one and have a cup of coffee, that's fine. But I never want to catch you singing in one of those places.
But Papa...
The discussion is closed. Would you mind passing the sugar, please?
Kathy said you wanted to see me about some kind of an emergency.
Brace yourself. Disaster has struck.
Well, what happened?
The roof just fell in on us. This morning at breakfast, the father figure conned me into thinking that he was young at heart. So I figured that was the perfect time to tell him about us working at the Pink Percolator.
How'd he take it?
He didn't.
You mean he doesn't want you to work there?
How do you spell ultimatum?
Oh, boy. Well, maybe he'll change his mind.
Never in a million years.
I guess that's that. We're out of the folk song business. Oh, why don't we go see a movie tonight?
I can't.
Well, why not?
Because I'm singing at the Pink Percolator tonight.
You should leave your brain to Harvard. That would teach him.
Okay, Rich, what don't you understand?
You just said you can't possibly...
Rich, I told you I'm gonna quit. But I can't just walk out. That wouldn't be fair.
Yeah, somebody's got to scrub the kitchen.
Look, I told you. Tonight is my last night. I just have to give him at least one night's notice.
That should pack him in. What time shall I pick you up?
I'll meet you there. Hey, you wouldn't know anybody who'd like to buy a second-hand guitar, would you? Patty, what if your mother and father find out what you're doing? Well, the worst that can happen is they'll put me up for adoption. Why don't you just tell Mr. Haley the truth? You mean tell him that my father thinks I'm too young to sing in a coffee house? I can't do that. Mr. Haley probably thinks I'm at least 25 or 30 years old. All right. Then tell him your father thinks you're too old to sing in a coffee house. Will you stop worrying? I told you I'm quitting. This is my last night. Don't you want to come and hear me sing? Well, I was going to, but I think I'd better stay here and keep an eye on your parents. That's my buddy. Don't let them budge out of the house. I won't. You know, there's really nothing to worry about. They never go to coffee houses. Yeah. Well, can't keep my public waiting. Bye.
Hey, Natalie, how about this? There's a new coffee house opened in the neighborhood. Listen to the ad. The Pink Percolator. Folk singing and 75 different kinds of coffee. It's enough to keep you awake for 2.5 months.
Can I watch television?
Did you finish your homework?
No, but it's easy.
Then do it.
But then I'll miss this educational program.
What educational program is that?
It's called The Attack of the Hairy Martians.
Oh, you mean it's a kind of astronomy lesson?
Yeah.
Do your homework.
Boy, when I'm old, I hope I remember what it was like to be young.
I've been thinking that about my conversation with Patty this morning. Maybe I was a little too rough on her. I suppose there's nothing wrong with her being a folk singer.
I don't know why, Martin, but I do not want my daughter working in a coffee house. She's barely old enough to drink it.
I'll get it. Hello? Oh, hello, Jonathan. It's Richard's father. No, Richard's not here. Patty? Just a minute. Is Patty here?
I think she went out. Oh, Kathy, where'd Patty go?
I believe she went to a concert.
Oh, Patty went to a concert. To a concert? Well, that's the third time in a row. No, I was talking to Kathy. Yes, we're going to be home for a little while. All right, fine. Yeah, I'll see you then. Jonathan says he wants to come over and talk to us.
What about?
He didn't say, but he sounded pretty upset.
I think I'll go finish a letter to Father.
Kathy, is Patty in any kind of trouble?
I hope not.
Is there anything you'd like to tell me?
I don't think so, Uncle Martin.
If Patty were up to anything, you'd tell us, wouldn't you?
I'm afraid I couldn't, Aunt Natalie.
You couldn't?
No. You see, it's sort of our generation against yours. Excuse me.
Hello, Jonathan.
Hello, Martin. Is Patty home yet?
Yeah, no. Come on in.
I hate to barge in on you like this.
Oh, you're not barging in. We're delighted to see you.
Hello, Natalie.
Hello, Jonathan. Won't you sit down?
Well, I'd rather not.
Something wrong?
Well, I'm not sure. Has Patty been acting peculiar lately?
Well, with Patty, it's kind of hard to tell.
Same with Richard.
I was joking.
I was serious.
What's Richard been doing?
That's just it. We don't know. He gets in late every night. He's completely exhausted all day, and he doesn't tell us where he goes or what he's been doing.
Patty has seemed a bit more tired than usual lately, and she's been getting in rather late.
I knew it. They're up to something. I love Richard being away from home. But my wife worries she's got some kind of a crazy mother complex.
You know how mothers are.
Richard has been talking about working in a coffee house.
Yeah, Patty mentioned taking a job in a coffee house.
What'd you tell her?
Well, I said no. But, you know, as a matter of fact, I was just telling Natalie, maybe I was a little too harsh with her.
I say you can't be too harsh with them. Give them an inch and they'll drive you out of your mind. You know where we make our mistake? Teaching the kids to talk. Just think of how wonderful it would be if they didn't know English. Look at all the money it'd save us on phone calls.
Good evening, Mr. Harrison.
Hello, Kathy. You two girls sure do look alike. I can never tell the difference.
The one with Richard is Patty.
Now, I hope he can tell the difference.
Oh, don't worry. Patty sees to that.
Would you like some coffee?
I'd love a cup.
Hey, wait a minute. Why don't we run on down to that new coffee house, the Pink Percolator, and have some there? They got 75 different kinds of coffee.
That's a good idea.
Oh, I don't think you'd like it.
Well, why not?
Well, I hear it's very crowded and the service is bad and the coffee's not good and it's very expensive.
If business is that good, they must have something. Let's go take a look at it.
It's really very noisy. Why don't I make you some coffee here?
Don't trouble, Kath.
Oh, it's no trouble at all, Aunt Natalie. I could have it ready in a minute.
You know, I'd like to see that new coffee house.
I make the best coffee in Brooklyn Heights.
Would you like to come with us, dear?
No, thank you, Aunt Natalie.
Well, don't worry. We'll be
Get on
back
our way.
before very long.
75 different kinds of coffee.
Is that hard to believe? 75?
Hello, is this the Pink Percolator? May I please speak to Patty Lane? Patty Lane, she works there. I'm sure she does. Oh, Pittsburgh Patty, I believe she's called. What? Oh, she can't go on. Would you give her a message for me, please?
Some nuts. You're on, kid.
I'm sorry, Mr. Haley. I can't go on now. I have to serve table 16 and clean up the kitchen, and then I... Oh, I see. Thank you, Mr. Haley. Excuse me. Rich, I'm on!
Oh, great! Good luck. Now, this is your last chance to express yourself, so pour it on.
Don't worry, I'll be great.
for three?
Please.
Crazy. Right over there, folks.
Crazy.
They do a good business here. I suppose the kids come in to hear the folk singing.
I'd like to hear them too. I've never heard a genuine folk singer.
I imagine they're pretty authentic here.
Hello? I must speak to Pittsburgh Patty. It's urgent.
She's just about to do her number. Call back later.
Good luck, Pittsburgh.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pink Percolator takes pleasure in presenting the voice of America, Pittsburgh Patty.
It's Patty.
Martin can't stop her now.
Yeah, but I told her she absolutely could not do this.
I miss my home in the old gray west, where I grew up with leeway. They say what happens for the best. My homestead's now a freeway. Oop diddle diddle oop diddle diddle oop diddle. Cream and sugar, anybody? Oop diddle diddle oop diddle diddle oop diddle. Rich and I gave our notice as soon as we got here. I mean, we didn't want to just walk out on Mr. Haley.
Yeah, tonight is going to be Patty's last night.
Papa, I'm sorry. I really didn't mean to disobey you. But I already had the job when you said I couldn't have it.
Patty,
Martin.
I was only going to say, Patty, I like what you did here.
You mean it?
Well, I certainly do.
You wouldn't want to write a review about her, would you, Mr. Lane?
Richard.
Please don't press your luck.
I thought you were great. You gonna do any more?
Yeah. Let's go, Rich. What do you have, folks? We have 75 different kinds of coffee. Oh, you'd like a menu? Coming right up. Why don't you stick around for the second floor show? Starts soon. Featuring Pittsburgh Patty for the last time. I'll get you a menu.
Take care of table 14, kid.
Crazy. Yes, sir. Excuse me.
That boy has finally found his career.
As an agent?
As a waiter.
Here's Kathy, who's lived most everywhere, from Zanzibar to Berkeley Square.
But Patty's only seen the sights a girl can see from Brooklyn Heights. What a crazy pair. But they're cousins, identical cousins, and you'll find they laugh alike, they walk alike, at times they even talk alike. You can lose your mind when cousins.
No, Patty, just this letter from Father. Oh, where is he this week? He's in Rome. He says a friend of his is coming to the States and he's going to look me up. A Mr. Honoré. Crazy. We'll paint the old town red for him. Kathy, think this dress will be okay for Saturday night? Richard lost his head and invited me to the theater. Oh, I think it looks fine. You know, I haven't seen Richard in a whole week. Monday night he broke his date with me because he had a toothache, and Wednesday night he broke his date with me because he had to help his father with something. And there he is. I'll get it. Hi, Rich. We were just talking about you.
Were you?
Uh-huh. Come on in.
Hi, Kathy.
Hello, Richard. Richard, are you gaining weight?
Of course not. Why should I be gaining weight?
He's as thin as a rail. Hey, you want some peanut brittle? We just got it.
No, thanks.
Oh, I know. I'll fix you one of my great bacon and egg sandwiches.
Oh, thanks anyway, but I don't want to spoil my dinner.
Wait. Still have that toothache?
What toothache? Oh, that toothache. No, I feel fine. I came over to tell you I can't take you out Saturday night.
Oh, I thought we had a date to go to the theater.
We did, but my Aunt Mabel came to town for the weekend, and I have to be with her. It's gonna be a terrible drag. She's got the personality of a barracuda. But there's nothing I can do about it. Oh, sorry.
That's okay, Rich. We'll do something next week.
Sure. I knew you'd be a good sport about it. As soon as my Aunt Mary leaves, I'll give you a call.
Richard, I thought you said her name was Mabel.
I did. Oh, I mean, it is Mabel. We call her Mary. It's kind of a nickname. Well, I guess I'll be running along. I'll see you later. Bye, Kathy. So long, Patty.
Bye, Rich. If I didn't know I was irresistible, I'd swear there's another woman. I'm sure there isn't, Patty. Richard adores you. Hello? Oh, hi, Gloria. My black dress? Yeah, I guess you can borrow it. Well, I had a date Saturday night, but it was canceled because of Aunts Mary and Mabel. Oh, you have a heavy date, huh? With who?
Meet Kathy, who's lived most everywhere, from Zanzibar to Berkeley Square.
But Patty's only seen the sights a girl can see from Brooklyn Heights. What a crazy pair, but they're cousins, identical cousins all the way. One pair of matching bookends, different as night and day.
Where Kathy adores a minuet, the ballet russe, and crepe Suzette.
Our Patty loves to rock and roll, a hot dog makes her lose control. What a wild duet, still they're cousins, identical cousins, and you find they laugh alike,
They walk alike,
at times they even talk alike. You can lose your mind when cousins are two of a kind.
I never want to see Richard Harrison again as long as I live.
Well, the way things are going, your chances look pretty good.
Patty, are you sure you didn't misunderstand? It's not like Richard to lie.
Believe me, Mama, I caught him red-handed. His Aunt Mabel is Gloria, the original clinging vine.
Did you give Richard a chance to explain?
There's nothing to explain, Papa. He goes out with other girls every once in a while, and I go out with other boys every once in a while. But we never break dates with each other to do it. Patty, I'm sure Richard has a good reason. Kathy, don't try to cheer me up. I like being miserable. Well, I'd like to give him back his pin, his ring, everything he's ever given me.
Why don't you?
He's never given me anything.
Well, what difference does it make? I thought you weren't interested in him anymore.
I'm not. That's Richard. Do I look all right? Oh, I'm a mess.
Well, I think someone should answer the door.
No. Don't anybody let him in.
I'll send him away.
No. I think you should make up your mind. I'll go send him away.
Can I watch?
No. You can all come into the kitchen and help me do the dishes.
Now, how do you ever expect me to learn about life if I can't watch the interesting parts?
Hello, Peter. Oh. Hi, Rich.
Hi, who is Peter?
Oh, just a friend.
I came to explain about Saturday night.
Oh, that's okay, Rich. You don't have to explain. Really, I understand. You have to help your father take care of your Aunt Mary Mabel, who has a toothache.
What are you talking about?
Gloria called and told me she had a date with you Saturday night.
She did? Boy, you sure can't trust women.
Can't trust women.
She shouldn't have done that.
Oh, but it's all right for you to keep breaking dates with me and lie about it.
I'm sorry, Patty, but I can't help it.
Rich, is Gloria so irresistible that you couldn't wait to see her on a night when we didn't have a date?
Gloria? Irresistible?
Well, isn't she?
Patty, I don't even like her.
You don't like her, but you keep breaking dates with me to go out with her.
That's right.
What'd you do, lose an election bet?
Patty, she's not nearly as nice as you. She's not as smart as you. She's not as pretty as you. And she's not as much fun as you.
What has she got?
something I can't resist. I'm hooked.
On what?
Her cooking.
Her cooking?
Gloria is probably the greatest cook that ever lived.
Richard, you've got to be kidding. Gloria can't even boil water.
Maybe she couldn't last year, but when she went to France with her folks this summer, she went to cooking school at Cordon Bleu. She's been cooking me banquets every night, and I mean banquets.
And that's why you gave up my bacon and egg sandwiches.
And tonight she's making me roast pig Maxines with petit pois, glazed peaches, baked Alaska, and I better run along. I don't want to be late. Goodbye, Patty.
Goodbye, Rich.
Did you throw him out?
Is everything all right?
Did you give him a chance to explain?
Oh, he explained all right. I have got a rival. His stomach.
His stomach?
Mama, when did you first learn to cook?
Not until I married your father.
She could prepare any dish 7 different ways. Badly burnt, medium burnt, scorched.
You never complained.
I didn't marry you for your cooking.
But cooking is important to a man, isn't it?
Well, I think every girl should know how to cook.
Will you teach me how, Mama?
Well, of course, darling. You can help prepare dinner tonight.
Great. I'll have him crawling back to me in no time. What are we having for dinner tonight? I'll make Gloria look like nothing.
Hot roast and mashed potatoes.
Patty, are you all right? Oh, sure, I'm fine. It's just that a woman feels like such a fool wasting the best years of her life on a man who doesn't even appreciate her. I'm sure it'll all work out fine. No, it won't. I lost old Glutton Head to the Cordon Bleu. What is the Cordon Bleu, anyway?
It's a famous cooking school in Paris. I took a course there once when Father and I lived there.
Kathy? Did you say you took a course there?
Yes, it's really an excellent school.
Did they teach you how to make lobster bisque? And baby veal cutlets with a cream sauce? And a pomme souffle?
Mm-hmm.
That was our first course.
What about baked Alaska? We had that for part of our graduation examination.
Kathy, you've just saved my whole romantic life.
Because I went to the Cordon Bleu?
That's right. You see, the reason Richard is after Gloria is that he's hooked on her cooking. And now I can beat her at her own game. Will you help me?
Of course, Patty. I'd love to teach you how to cook.
Who said anything about teaching me to cook? Kathy, it took you a year to learn. I've got to have Richard back in the fold by tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night?
Yeah. Look, I'll invite him over here tomorrow, and I'm going to prepare the greatest dinner this side of Maxime's.
Patty, if you're thinking what I think you're thinking...
Oh, please, Kathy, I'll never ask you for another favor as long as I live. All you have to do is prepare one of your fabulous dinners.
And let you tell Richard that you cooked it.
That's right. He'll never look at Gloria again.
Patty, I'd like to help you out, really, but...
Kathy, if you don't do it, I'll lose him. Believe me, the only way to Richard's heart is through the hole in his head.
You do? Well, the kind of dinner I have in mind would be very expensive.
I don't care about the expense. This is all-out war.
Hi, Patty. Hi, Kathy. Gentlemen.
Hi, Rich.
Hello, Richard.
I'll pull up a chair and have a soda.
Well, I'll pull up a chair, but I won't have anything. I never eat in the afternoons anymore.
Oh. Rich, I thought maybe if you were free tomorrow night, you'd like to come over to my house for dinner.
Well, thanks, Patty, but I have promised Gloria...
My mother and father are going out, and I thought maybe I'd cook myself.
I definitely promised Gloria I'd...
Oh, well, it's not going to be anything special. I just thought maybe for an appetizer we'd have fantasy de fruits de mer, and then Canneton bigarade. Yeah, bigarade.
What's that?
It's a tender young duckling with riz sauvage ménagère.
Riz sauvage...
Wild rice. And then I thought we'd have endive frosée flamande, and then maybe for dessert some crepe Suzettes.
You can make crepe Suzette? Gloria can't even do that.
Well, I guess it does take a certain knack.
I know that Kathy is supposed to be a great French cook, but
Well, Patty's cooking tastes a lot like mine.
Yeah.
Gee, it's too bad about your date with Gloria tomorrow night.
Well, I could tell her that my Uncle Henry came into town.
Why don't you do that?
Crepe Suzette.
Boy, it sure takes a lot of stuff, doesn't it? I used up my allowance for the next 6 months. But it's all going to be worth it. Patty, are you certain that you want both baked Alaska and crepe Suzette for dessert? Uh-huh. I figure as long as we're going out for the big fish, we may as well use plenty of bait. I hope you know what you're doing. Hey, you didn't flunk any of those courses, did you? I'll have you know I received the gold star. No kidding. Do you know how lucky I am to have you? The gold star at the cordon bleu. That's bleu. What time is Richard coming? I told him to come at 7 o'clock. Oh, then I'd better start the sauces now. That'll only give me about 4 hours. You mean it takes 4 hours to cook one of these dinners? Some of them take 4 days. That's the fish calling up to find out what time the bait is being served. Hello? Oh, no, it isn't. Hold on a minute. Mr. Honoré. Oh, that's Father's friend. And thank you, Patty. Hello, Mr. Honoré. Yes, Father wrote me you were coming. How is he? Good. He did? Thank you. Oh, yes, I want to talk about him very much. Why don't you invite him for dinner tonight? I don't mind cooking for one more. Monsieur Honoré, would you like to join us for dinner tonight? Oh, you are? What time? Oh, I see. It's all right if he's late. I'll let my sauces cook a little longer. Oh, yes, I'm very anxious to get together with you. But I'm afraid I can't right now. You see, I'm doing something for someone. I'll say you are. Oh, yes, I understand. If that's the only time. All right. I'm looking forward to seeing you. Thank you. Au revoir. What was all that about? Patty, Monsieur Honoré is catching a plane at 7 o'clock for India. I have to go to the airport to have dinner with him. Kathy, you can't do that. I'm catching Richard at 7 o'clock. I know, Patty. I'm terribly sorry. But this is the only chance I'll have to see him, and Father insisted that I meet him. Yeah, but your father didn't know there was going to be a crisis in my life. Oh, Kathy, if you walk out on me now, I'm ruined. I'm really sorry, Patty. But this is one of Father's closest friends. I have no choice. But what about my Canatum be by you, whatever it is. Please, Kathy. Hello, is this ready frozen food delivery? How long would it take you to deliver a dinner? Oh, that's great. Okay, would you deliver me 2 orders of Fantasy de Fruits de Mer and 2 orders of Canton Bigarade and a large baked Alaska? Hello? Hello? Peasant. Hello? Is this the French omelette? This is the French Gourmet Society. We have chosen your restaurant to prepare us a dinner. We would like a fantastic French dinner. Something that will knock someone's eyes out. What would you suggest? Oui? Oui. Oh, that sounds marvelous. I will send my secretary to pick it up. At what time can it be ready? Thursday? Thanks anyway.
Hi, sis. What's cooking?
Me.
What are you building?
A gallows. I was trying to impress Richard.
Why would you have to impress him? He's lucky to have you.
Thanks, Ross. But he suddenly flipped for French food. And guess who cooks it? Gloria.
Uh-oh.
I guess I'm gonna have to find you another brother-in-law.
Hey, wait a minute. I've got an idea.
Yeah? What's that?
Kathy's a great cook. Why don't you ask her to...
Good thinking. I tried it.
Oh. Okay. All you have to do is call one of those frozen food places that delivers... and-
Tried it.
What about calling a French restaurant and asking them to...
You really are a chip off the old block, aren't you? Okay. Hello? Oh, hi, Rich. I was just talking about you. Rich, about dinner tonight. You haven't eaten anything all day because you're looking forward to my fantasy de fruit de mer and my Canton Bigarade and my crêpes.
Boy, I really underestimated you, Patty. You're full of surprises.
Rich, has it ever occurred to you that there are more important things in life than eating?
Yeah? Name one. Gloria tried to get me to break my date with you tonight. She tried to tempt me with profiteroles. But I told her I was holding out for your crepe Suzettes.
Oh, bully for you.
She claims you can't cook.
Oh, she does she? Oh, what does she know?
Nothing. That's why I'm going to see you at 7 o'clock. And have plenty to eat. I'm bringing my appetite.
I make great peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, sis.
Thanks, Ross. But to a gourmet, that's nothing.
What's a gourmet?
A glutton with a fancy appetite. You wouldn't have any other ideas, would you?
Yeah. Find me a brother-in-law who likes hamburgers.
That's it.
What'd I say?
The magic word. Look, I may not know how to cook, but I can certainly make hamburgers. I'll just tell Richard I think he's gaining too much weight, and I thought I'd make him a plain old hamburger dinner. At least I'll still be in the ballgame. Will you help me clean up this mess?
Sure.
Here.
Oh, I'm so happy I was able to see you, Kathy.
So am I, monsieur.
Your father's exact words to me were, I want you to see Kathy in person and tell me exactly what she looks like. If she's too thin or too pale. Well, you know what fathers are like.
Yes.
He tells me that you are flying over there to see him this summer.
As soon as school is out. I'm hoping to take Patty with me.
Oh, your father speaks of Patty a great deal. Apparently, she's what you call a character. Happy and carefree.
Well, she used to be.
I don't understand.
Oh, I've gotten Patty into terrible trouble.
What?
She's home now cooking a gourmet dinner for her boyfriend, Richard.
Patty is a gourmet cook?
No, Patty isn't any kind of a cook.
And yet she's cooking a gourmet dinner for this Richard?
Not exactly. You see, I was supposed to cook it.
Oh, and she was going to impress him by saying she cooked it.
Yes.
Well, as a Frenchman, I would feel a deep responsibility if in any way I hurt a romance.
It isn't your fault, monsieur.
Yes, in a way it is. I think I owe Patty and her friend a dinner, but we must be very resourceful. What was she going to serve?
Oh, there it is. Ross, will you keep an eye on the hamburgers for me?
Sure.
Thank you.
Boy, I wouldn't be a woman for anything.
Hi, Patty.
Hi, Rich.
Something sure smells good. What is it, Canton Bigarade? Huh?
Well...
It even smells better from here.
I'm glad you feel that way about it, Rich, because the truth of the matter is...
Sure had me fooled.
I did?
Yeah. I thought the only thing you could cook was those crummy hamburgers of yours.
Those crummy hamburgers of mine?
Yeah, Gloria tried to tell me that's what you're going to feed me tonight. You sure got a laugh on her.
Yeah.
What time are we going to eat?
Would
12 o'clock be too late?
Can I help you?
I'm sorry to be so late. Everything had to be cooked to order. You know? Fantaisie de fruits de mer, canton bigarade, riz sauvage ménagère, and crêpes Suzette. Monsieur Honoré and the restaurant voisin wish you a very pleasant dinner. Bonsoir, monsieur.
Richard, I have a confession to make.
Couldn't you make it after dinner? I'm getting kind of hungry. I didn't even eat breakfast.
No, Richard, it can't wait till after dinner. You see, what Gloria said about me...
You don't have to worry about Gloria.
Yes, I do, Rich. You see, what she said is absolutely...
Patty, I don't want to rush you, but if you don't sit down to dinner soon, that duck is going to get cold, the baked Alaska is going to melt, and your crepe Suzettes will be ruined.
Oh, boy. What are we waiting for? Oh, let's eat.
Yeah. You know something, Rich?
What?
Somebody up there likes me. Oh, hi, Gloria. Hi, Patty. Gee, it's too bad you couldn't join Rich and me for dinner last night.
Oh, he told me all about it.
Oh, did he? Mm-hmm. It really wasn't much. Next time I should go into something more complicated.
Well, I'd love to be there when you do. I have a feeling you got away with something this time. But what are you going to do for an encore? Well, bye, darling.
Hi, Rich.
Hi, Patty.
Something wrong?
I've got kind of a confession to make.
You have a confession to make?
Yeah, it's about that dinner we had last night.
You mean you didn't like it?
Oh, I loved it. But to tell the truth, I've been eating too much rich food lately. And the whole thing's making me kind of sick.
You mean you don't like rich food anymore?
Oh, don't even mention it.
Well, Rich, I guess I'll just have to find somebody else to cook for.
What do you mean?
Well, a great talent like mine can't just go to waste. I'll have to find somebody who appreciates me.
Well, gee, Patty, I appreciate you.
All right, Rich. I'm going to give you a chance to prove it.
Oh, thanks, Patty. Oh, what do you want me to do?
I want you to come to my house tonight at 7 o'clock.
Yeah?
And I'm going to make you some of my crummy hamburgers.
It's a deal.
Here's Kathy, who's lived most everywhere, from Zanzibar to Berkeley Square.
But Patty's only seen the sights a girl can see from Brooklyn Heights. What a crazy pair! But they're cousins, identical cousins, and you'll find they laugh alike,
They walk alike,
at times they even talk alike. You can lose your mind when cousins.
Your debating team coming, Kath?
Oh, fine, Uncle Martin. Patty and I are both on the team.
Oh.
Yeah, Papa, we're gonna bowl them over.
We're having our Little League tryouts this morning. Boy, I'll bet half the town didn't sleep last night.
Papa, we're having a debate at the auditorium Saturday. Would you like to come?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I have to go to a meeting in Kansas City this weekend.
There must be 1 million guys trying out for pitcher. How long you be gone?
Just a day or two.
Boy, I'll bet the guys that don't make the team are gonna kill themselves.
What are you debating?
Whether or not there's life on other planets.
That should be interesting.
Now, Billy Bishop is the one to watch. He's good, and he throws a fastball with a hop on it. Everybody knows he's gonna get it. Have you ever seen a fastball with a hop on it?
I'm sorry, Ross. I really don't know very much about baseball.
Well, I could teach you. You too, Patty.
Oh, sure, Ross. But some other time we're trying to get ready for the debate.
Yeah. Well, I think I'll be going. I don't want to be late for the tryouts. So long.
Patty, are you meeting Richard?
Yeah, Mama, we're going unicycling.
Unicycling?
Uh-huh, one wheel. That should be fun.
Where's Ross?
He's gone. That kid. He could have at least said goodbye.
Meet Kathy, who's lived most everywhere, from Zanzibar to Berkeley Square.
But Patty's only seen the sights a girl can see from Brooklyn Heights. What a crazy pair, but they're cousins, identical cousins all the way. One pair of matching bookends, different as night and day.
Where Kathy adores a minuet, the ballet russe, and crepe Suzette.
Our Patty loves to rock and roll, a hot dog makes her lose control. What a wild duet, still they're cousins, identical cousins, and you find they laugh alike,
They walk alike,
at times they even talk alike. You can lose your mind when cousins are two of a kind.
Ross! Ross! Hey, what's the matter? Don't you feel well? Well, tell me what's wrong. Why are you lying here in the dark?
Well, no one cares whether I live or die. I'm not gonna make the ball team. I haven't had a bite of food all day.
Of course we care.
Billy Bishop's gonna make pitcher. Oh, I wish I were dead.
Oh, come on, don't say that. Everything's gonna be all right.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is. Now, I want you to tell me all about it, but first I'll get you something to eat, okay? I'll bring a tray up here.
I guess so. Oh, promise not to tell Mom and Dad. You know, they'd think I was a sissy.
Don't worry about that. What are we going to do? I don't know, Kathy, but we've got to do something. He's in terrible shape.
Are you still hungry?
No, Mom, this is for Ross.
Well, you say he didn't want any dinner. He filled up on hot dogs and things at the ballpark.
Well, that's because he was too sick to eat. Mama, he's up in his room and he's in terrible shape.
Why?
Well, first of all, because he didn't make the Little League, and second of all, because he thinks none of us give a darn.
Why didn't he say something?
Well, I guess he did, but we weren't tuned in.
Oh, well, I'll go up and have a talk with him.
Oh, no, Papa, I really wish you wouldn't do that, because I told him I wouldn't say anything. He doesn't want you to think he's a sissy.
Oh, all right. You make sure he eats, and we'll think of something.
Okay.
Patty.
Thank you. You want some more? Okay, let's talk.
Well, to tell you the truth, I don't feel much like talking.
What do you feel like?
A failure.
Just because you might not make the Little League?
Well, I can't explain it. It seems like such a little thing, but if the coach doesn't pick me, it means I'm not as good as the other fellow. I might as well be a girl.
Well, how do you know he's not going to pick you?
Because today he kept putting Billy Bishop in as pitcher. He only let me pitch half an inning.
Well, that's not fair. What's his name?
Coach Johnson.
And he picks the teams?
Yeah, he's murder. I really tried, Patty, but he's awfully hard to please.
Well, did he actually say he was going to pick Billy Bishop?
No, but everybody knows he's going to.
When is it supposed to be decided?
At the end of our tryouts next week. And it's not only pitching, it's also going to depend a lot on our RBIs.
Your RBIs?
Runs batted in. What's the difference? Nobody around here cares anything about baseball. It's like I was speaking a foreign language and have got nobody to talk to.
Well, from now on, you're going to. Okay, it's your turn. How many major leagues are there? 2. American and National. Good. Where's Baltimore? In Maryland, isn't it? I mean, what league is it in? Oh, American. Good. San Francisco? National? Minnesota? American. Good, you're going to be quite an expert. Let's go to the minor leagues.
Maury Wills.
He's with the Dodgers.
Flood.
St. Louis Cardinals.
Nixon.
Did he play ball?
Russ Nixon.
Of course. Boston.
Very good.
You know, all these players are famous, and I never even heard of them before. It's like another world.
Well, at the moment, it's Ross's world. I think it's very nice we can share it with him.
So do I. Is there a little league for mothers?
I don't think so. Might not be a bad idea to start one, though. You know, I wouldn't be in Coach Johnson's shoes for all the money in the world. I'll bet every mother and father in town is on his neck.
Hello, darling.
Oh, hi, son. How'd it go today?
Not so hot. A lot of kids were eliminated.
Were you?
No, but tomorrow's another day.
Hi, champ. How's it going?
Terrible. Billy Bishop pitched most of the game.
Oh, well, that's nothing to worry about. The coach is probably just saving you, that's all. Come on, sit down.
Sure. The way they saved Tiant today. They put him in as relief pitcher in the top of the 4th, and he pitched a shutout.
Ross, it might be a good idea if you got some extra pitching practice. Hey, yeah, you can practice on the patio.
But I've no one to play with.
Well, I'll play ball with you. I could use the exercise.
Do you mean that, Dad?
Certainly. Let's go out and throw a few around.
Oh, I've got nothing to do. I'll go with you. Me too.
Hey, that's great.
Let's go.
Strike 3!
You got a nice curve there, son.
Thanks. You should see Billy Bishop's curve.
Why don't we take a little rest?
Yeah. I could go on forever.
Not me. I'm not as young as I used to be.
How do you think I'm doing?
I think you're doing fine. Could I give you some advice?
Sure.
I think you should stop worrying about Billy Bishop. Forget that you're competing with him and just compete with yourself. Do the best you can.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll meet you at the Shake Shack. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
I'll call you from Kansas City.
Bye, Papa. Have a good time.
Oh, thank you, honey. Now, you look after Ross, will you?
Oh, don't worry about him. I'm going to make a little league pitcher out of him if it kills me.
He'll be fine. Goodbye, dear.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
You know, Mama, Ross is really a very good pitcher. Coach Johnson wouldn't dare not put him on the team.
I hope Coach Johnson knows that. Hello, darling.
Hi, Ross.
Hungry?
Did anything happen today?
Coach Johnson eliminated all the pitchers except me and Billy Bishop.
That's great.
Good.
No, it isn't. Billy Bishop's gonna get it. Is 12 too young to have a nervous breakdown?
You're not going to have a nervous breakdown.
I'm cracking up.
Why don't you have something to eat?
Why is it mothers always think that food solves everything? I don't know what I'm gonna do if he doesn't pick me.
What's wrong with Ross? War nerves. Narrowed down to him and Billy Bishop. Mama, we've got to do something. Do you know he hasn't eaten anything in 3 days? He's going to be too thin to pitch. He'll throw the ball and go right up in the air after it.
I don't know what to do.
Why don't we have a talk with Coach Johnson? You know, kind of feel him out.
Is that ethical?
Well, if you love your son, it's ethical. I mean, why don't we invite him to dinner? You see, I could find out what his favorite food is and you could cook it for him.
That sounds a little like bribery.
No, it's what you call the social graces.
Comes at an opportune time, too, doesn't it?
Mama, there's nothing wrong with being nice to him. I mean, what's wrong with letting him see Ross in his native habitat?
I don't think your father would approve.
Oh, he doesn't have to know. Oh, he's out of town, isn't he? What harm could it do? We're only going to invite him to dinner. Everybody does it. I mean, people give candy to the teacher, an apple to the policeman, gifts to their bosses. It's just a way of showing your appreciation. This does mean a lot to Ross, Aunt Natalie.
All right. We'll do it.
Let's not say anything to Ross.
Let's not say anything to anyone.
This is going to be the best party we've ever had.
Well, it isn't exactly a party, darling. It's just Coach Johnson.
Still going to be the best party we ever had. Patty, would you sit for me, please? Oh, sure, Cat.
Does Ross have any idea who's coming?
We didn't breathe a word.
I can't wait to see his face.
Yeah. He's here. The coach is here. Sorry. Someone had better let him in or go away.
I'll let him in. Martin!
Hi. I'm sorry, I had a ring. I just forgot my key.
You're home a day early.
Yeah, I know. We finished up ahead of schedule, so I just caught the late afternoon plane out, and here I am. You're all dressed up.
Yes, we're having a guest for dinner.
Oh, one of Patty's friends?
No, one of Ross's friends.
Well, good.
How do you do?
I'm fine. How are you?
What are you doing here?
I live here.
But you're home a day early.
Well, I can always leave again. Why is everybody so dressed up?
You always dress for dinner.
Like that?
He's here again.
Yeah, well, I must say you've gone to a lot of trouble for Ross's friend, but I think it's kind of cute.
Do you? I'm sure glad. Patty, would you let him in, please?
Oh, yeah. Good evening, Coach Johnson. Hi, I'm Patty Lee.
Hello, Patty.
Thank you. Won't you come in?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Hello, I'm Mrs. Lane.
How do you do?
And this is my husband, Martin Lane. Darling, this is Coach Johnson.
Coach Johnson?
Nice to meet you, Mr. Lane.
Well, it's a pleasant surprise meeting you.
And this is our niece, Kathy.
Hello, Kathy.
How do you do, Coach Johnson?
What are you doing here? I suppose you come by to give us some news.
News? No, I just came by to have dinner.
You just came by to have dinner?
Yes. Isn't it nice that Coach Johnson was able to take time out from his busy schedule?
Oh, it certainly is.
Where's Ross?
Oh, he'll be right down. Excuse me.
Oh, won't you sit down, please?
Yes. Thank you.
Oh, Aki-san, would you put it right here, please?
I love Japanese food. Ikaga desu ka?
Yoroshi.
Do you? I'm so glad.
What time shall I serve dinner, madam?
The usual time, Aki-san.
On your feet, Ross, get dressed.
I am dressed.
Oh, I mean really dressed.
What for?
For dinner.
Why can't I eat like this?
Because we're having a very important guest. Well, two guests.
I'm not hungry.
Come on, put these on and come downstairs and hurry up.
Okay. What did you get all dressed up for?
I did it for someone I love. Hurry up.
I've been a fan of yours for a long time, Mr. Lane. I think the Chronicle's a great newspaper.
Well, thank you.
Are you interested in baseball?
Oh, I played a little when I was in high school.
Ross will be right down. Ross just talks about you all the time, Coach Johnson.
I imagine all the boys talk about me most of the time. It's a good thing I don't hear what they have to say, isn't it?
You used to be shortstop on the Chicago White Sox, didn't you?
How did you know that?
You're much too modest. In your last season with them, you batted .301.
Well, you've been doing a little research on me, haven't you?
Oh, Mama knows all the batting averages. Oh, we're great baseball fans around here.
What did you do after you quit baseball?
I went into the sporting goods business.
Well, how did you get started as a Little League coach?
Somebody asked me, and I said yes. I went in as a substitute for 2 weeks. I've been at it for 10 years now.
Must be very rewarding.
It is. But there are problems, too.
What kind of problems?
Psychological, mostly. Kids can get pretty high-strung. Making the team means a great deal to them. Sometimes too much. Very often the parents will push them into competition. If they fail, they feel they've let their parents down.
Ross was interested in Little League ball before we even knew anything about it.
I'm not saying all parents do it, Mrs. Lane, but you'd be surprised what some mothers and fathers will resort to get their children on the team. These are marvelous. I think these are better than the ones I had last night.
Last night?
Over at Billy Bishop's.
I still don't see why I should wear a suit.
Hello, Ross.
What are you doing here, sir? I mean, did I do something wrong?
Of course not, darling. We invited Coach Johnson to dinner.
To dinner?
Yeah. He eats too, you know.
Why here?
We thought it would be nice if we all got acquainted.
That's why I came, Ross. I like to meet the families of the boys who try out for the team.
Dinner is served.
Arigato, Aki-san.
Oh, Ross said to tell you the reason he went to bed so early is because he's in strict training.
He's a nice boy.
Nat.
Would you like to see our roses? I've some prize cuttings.
I grow them myself.
Oh.
Excuse me, girls. Oh, these are much larger than mine.
They're choice cuttings. May I send you some?
That's very kind of you, Mrs. Lane.
Oh, it's nothing at all. They certainly get a lot of tender, loving care.
Son, you awake?
I guess so. How's he going?
No, I just came up to see how you were.
Mom should never have invited him to dinner.
No, she was just trying to be helpful.
I'll never be able to face him again.
Well, the dinner wasn't really that bad.
He'll think we were trying to bribe him or something.
Well, if it was any consolation to you, Billy Bishop's mother and father had him over for a Japanese dinner last night. He said our raw fish was much better.
Why do parents have to be so helpful?
Well, maybe you'll understand that better when you have children of your own, son.
But I don't want to have children when I grow up. I want to be a baseball player. This could be the end of my whole career.
I doubt that.
Boy, when that butler walked in, I could have died. Where'd he come from?
An employment agency.
What was Mom trying to prove?
I don't think she was trying to prove anything. She just wanted to entertain Coach Johnson, and she was trying to make him feel as comfortable as possible. She went to a lot of trouble.
Trouble is the right word.
Well, I'm not saying that what we did was right. We were probably overcompensating.
What does that mean?
It means that in the beginning we didn't do enough, and in the end we did too much. It's a disease that parents suffer from. I'm sorry if we embarrassed you.
That's okay, Dad. I'll probably get married and have children and forget all about baseball.
Maybe you can do both.
Anyhow, it's only Little League. You know, kind of kid stuff.
I know.
Who cares if anyone's a pitcher?
Sure, who cares?
I care.
I'm sure glad you could come to dinner tonight, Coach Johnson.
Well, so am I, Patty.
You have no idea how much it means to Ross. Ross says that Don Johnson is your son.
That's right.
Don's in my history class.
Oh.
Gee, he's a nice boy. I think he's one of the nicest boys in the whole school. I really like him.
We're having a record party here Friday. We'd sure love to have him come over.
Has he ever been here before?
No.
I see. Well, I'll tell him. Excuse me.
I didn't mean that the way it sounded. Would you like some more coffee, Mr. Johnson?
Oh, thank you. This is enough.
Would you like some fruit?
Oh, no, thank you. I'd better be going.
Oh, but it's still early.
Well, tomorrow's a big day. I have to pick the ball team. Thank you very much for the dinner. It was lovely. Good night. I'm glad I met you, Mr. Lane.
Oh, nice to meet you, Coach. You're going to make your decision tomorrow.
That's right. That's one of the reasons I wanted to come here to meet Ross's family. Ross is a good player, but it's important to know how much support he can count on at home. I mean, a real kind of support where the family knows that he can stand on his own 2 feet. Well, thanks again for everything. I'll see myself out. Good night.
Good night.
Oh, Martin.
It's all my fault. I invited his son to a party and made it sound like I was bribing him. I offered to babysit for him for nothing.
And I offered him our prize roses and thanked him for putting Ross on the team in the same breath. And Aki, and the Japanese food.
Boy, we really helped Ross, didn't we?
Your intentions were good, but you made one mistake.
What was that?
You didn't have enough confidence in Ross. If he wasn't good enough to make the team, then he shouldn't have been on it. But if he was good enough to make it, you should have let him do it on his own.
Yes, sir. Chalk it up to another Patty Lane brainstorm. Where are you going? To see if I can get Ross to take up ice hockey.
Ross should have been home hours ago.
Tryouts take time.
Patty, where have you been? On a kamikaze mission. Since this whole thing was my idea, I decided I should go apologize to Coach Johnson.
What did he say?
He said not to send the rose cuttings, 'cause with his wife away, there's nobody to water them.
Oh.
And he said to tell you he doesn't need a babysitter. I see. And his son can't come on Friday night. Well, we've batted 1,000.
I think the expression is, we struck out.
How am I going to face him?
Hi, folks.
Ross, would you like to go to 3 movies tomorrow?
Oh, gee, thanks, sis, but I can't. I'm pitching for the Little League team.
Oh. You what?
I was made pitcher today. Billy Bishop's my relief pitcher.
Congratulations,
That's
Ross.
wonderful, darling. I'm so glad.
Now we'll show them some real shutouts.
Boy, Coach Johnson sure was nervous today. There must have been 1,000,000 parents out there. He asked me to give you a message, Dad.
A message for me?
Yeah, he's on a 6-month vacation. He wants you to take over as Little League coach for him.
You're kidding.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Here's Kathy, who's lived most everywhere, from Zanzibar to Berkeley Square.
But Patty's only seen the sights a girl can see from Brooklyn Heights. What a crazy pair! But they're cousins, identical cousins, and you'll find they laugh alike, they walk alike, at times they even talk alike. You can lose your mind when cousins.
Tell him he'll have to find another passenger because you can't go.
Papa, it's a brand new second-hand motorcycle, and Richard wants to try it out. Naturally, he wants me with him.
What's so natural about that?
The subject is closed.
Oh, Mama, it'll break his heart.
Hattie, I think that you are now reaching the age where you should be thinking about more ladylike pursuits than riding on the back of a motorcycle.
Okay. Now, since I'm an old lady, I think I'll take up crocheting.
I'm sure you can find a happy medium, dear.
Your cousin Kathy would never think of riding around with Richard on his motorcycle.
She better not.
Well, it just wouldn't do you any harm to emulate Kathy a little more.
I guess you're right, Papa. I am a little far out sometimes. Good old Kathy, always got her 2 feet on the ground. Okay, from now on, I'm going to do everything that she does.
Well, there's no need to go overboard. It's just you could pick up a few pointers from her.
Hello, everybody.
Meet Kathy, who's lived most everywhere, from Zanzibar to Berkeley Square.
But Patty's only seen the sights a girl can see from Brooklyn Heights. What a crazy pair, but they're cousins, identical cousins all the way. One pair of matching bookends, different as night and day.
Where Kathy adores a minuet, the ballet russe, and crepe Suzette.
Our Patty loves to rock and roll, a hot dog makes her lose control. What a wild duet, still they're cousins, identical cousins, and you find they laugh alike,
They walk alike,
at times they even talk alike. You can lose your mind when cousins are two of a kind.
Boy, you really got caught in a thunder shower.
Yeah, except the sun is shining outside. What happened, Kathy?
Why, got a little wet.
No. Darling, are you all right?
Yes, Aunt Natalie, I'm fine, thank you.
Well, how on earth did you get all wet?
I'd better get into some dry clothes. Excuse me.
What in the world happened to her?
I don't know, but she sure doesn't want to talk about it.
She'll tell us when she's ready.
Well, maybe she's not ready, but I am. Hi, Cuz.
No.
No what?
No, I don't want to discuss it.
Kathy, you can't walk into the house soaking wet and say you don't want to discuss it. Did you have a water fight with somebody?
No.
You walked in front of an open fire hydrant.
Of course not.
You invented a rainmaking machine.
Patty, let's just forget about it.
Okay. We'll forget about it. What is it I'm forgetting about?
My allowance check came. I'll treat you to a movie tonight.
Somebody pushed her in a swimming pool. Hello? Kathy Lane? Just a minute, I'll get her. Who's calling, please? A reporter from the New York Metropolitan? The New York Metropolitan is calling Kathy Lane? What is it in reference to, please? In reference to her heroism today. When she jumped in the lake at the park and saved a boy who was drowning? Kathy? Oh, sure, you can send a reporter. Hey, and you better send a photographer, too. I mean, that's the least you can do for a heroine. Bye.
But, Kathy, I think you should be very proud of what you did.
If Patty had done it, she would have come in with a neon sign.
Kathy, you saved somebody's life. Do you know what that means?
Yes. It means there's going to be a big fuss about it, and I don't want there to be. But, Patty, you shouldn't have told that newspaper to send a photographer and a reporter.
Tell us what happened, Kath.
It wasn't anything, Uncle Martin. I happened to be walking by the lake in the park, and I heard someone calling for help. I saw a boy swimming, and he seemed to be having a cramp. There was no one else around, so I jumped in and pulled him out.
She just jumped in and pulled him out. Have you ever heard such modesty?
They usually give medals for things like this, you know.
Your picture will be on the front page.
I just did what anyone else would have done. And I'd really prefer not to have a big thing made about it.
Well, it's too late.
Yeah. Now you belong to the ages.
He's right, Kathy. Heroism has to be rewarded. And I'm going to help her.
comes the backfield. Watch how silly Tony acts. He's got a real crush on me.
Hi, Kathy.
Hello, Tony.
Heard what you did yesterday. That's the bravest thing I ever heard of.
Were you scared?
Well, I didn't have much time to think about it.
You've really got what it takes.
You going to class? I'll carry your books. How'd you like to see a movie tonight?
I think I'm free.
Hi, Patty. What are you staring at?
My cousin, the heroine. Come on.
Before we begin class, there's another matter I'd like to take up. I'm sure that by now you've all heard about the wonderful act of courage that was displayed yesterday by one of our classmates. Kathy, would you stand up, please? You've brought honor to all of us by what you did, Kathy. Risking your own life to save the life of a stranger is the highest act of valor. Would you care to say a few words to the class about it?
Thank you, Miss Castle. There really isn't much to say. I'm sure that everyone here would have done the same thing in the same situation. Thank you. Boy, what conceit. No, I'm sorry. I don't know when she'll be back. Okay, I'll give her a message. Thank you. That was the Bugle calling. They want to do a feature story on Kathy. Do you know that that's the 10th call she's had in the last hour? And look at this. Teenager saves lad. Right on the front page. With the situation the world is in, you think they'd have more important things to write about than that.
I don't understand you, Patty. You were the one that told the reporter and the newspaper man to come over. You said it was the bravest thing you'd ever heard of. Now, suddenly you act like she did something terrible.
Richard, if there's anything I can't stand, it's a show-off.
Patty, you're not jealous of Kathy, are you?
Who? Me? Of course not. It just isn't fair, Richard, that's all.
What isn't fair?
The only reason Kathy is a heroine is because she was in the right place at the right time. Now, I could have been there instead.
If you'd have been there, he'd have drowned. You can't swim.
Everybody's making such a big fuss over her. You think nobody'd ever saved anybody's life before.
She did a very brave thing.
I'm not trying to take that away from her, Richard. It's just that Kathy is not a natural-born heroine.
And you are.
Well, at least I'd know how to handle the situation.
I think Kathy is handling it fine.
Oh, the whole thing's gone to her head. Richard, I tried to give her the benefit of my advice, and she wouldn't even listen to me. That's probably Life magazine wanting to put her on the cover. Hello? No, Kathy isn't home. Who's calling, please? Roger who? Oh, that Roger. It's the boy she saved.
A voice from the dead.
No, there really isn't any point in coming over, Roger, because Kathy's not home. Just a minute, Roger. She just came in. Why don't you come over? Yeah, she'll be waiting for you. See you then.
Here comes who?
Kathy. Roger wants to talk to her. This is my chance to find out the truth.
The truth about what?
The truth about what really happened.
Oh, we know what happened.
Do we? Richard, doesn't it strike you as a little peculiar that Kathy doesn't even want to talk about it?
Not at all. Kathy's just naturally modest.
Or maybe she's just naturally afraid that we'll find out that she fell into that lake by mistake. Or that he wasn't even drowning at all. Or that it was only 3 feet of water. Richard, I'm about to explode a myth.
Hello, Kathy. I brought these for you.
Oh, thank you. Come in, won't you?
Thank you.
Won't you sit down?
Thank you.
We had quite a day yesterday, didn't we?
Yes. I saw the story in the newspaper this morning.
Did you? Well, it really wasn't very accurate, was it?
Well, it didn't tell the whole truth.
No, it didn't, did it? But we know the whole truth, don't we?
Yep.
It didn't mention that some parts of the lake were only a few feet deep.
Why should they?
Why should it? I'll bet you're a wonderful swimmer.
Well, I was on the varsity swimming team.
I knew it.
But that doesn't help much when you've got a cramp. Does it?
No, it doesn't, does it? Roger, when I fell into that lake...
Fell in? That was one of the most beautiful dives I've ever seen.
Well, it looks like I really saved your life, doesn't it?
I can't tell you how grateful I am, Kathy.
Roger.
Which is which?
I'm Kathy. And I'm Patty, her cousin. Nice to meet you, Roger. We were just having a little chat. Oh? About what? About you a lot.
Patty almost convinced me you didn't save my life.
Did she? Well, I guess you two have a lot to talk about. It was very nice to meet you, Roger. Goodbye.
It's amazing. She's exactly like you.
Yes.
Hello, Momo, Papa. That's French.
Our son, the linguist. Hey, that's a clean plate.
Yeah, thanks. Are we all going down to City Hall to watch Kathy get a medal?
Well, of course we are. How often do we have a hero in the family?
Every day. I should get a medal for living with Patty.
Lois, have Patty and Kathy been quarreling the past few days?
Mm-mm.
Oh, well, that's good.
They don't talk to one another, but they haven't been quarreling.
I'm going down to the post office to mail this letter. Can I get you anything?
No, thank you, Kathy.
We were just talking about your medal.
Oh, I don't suppose there's any way I could refuse that without seeming ungrateful.
Why would you want to refuse it?
I just would.
Because of Patty.
She seems so upset about it, I'd really rather let the whole thing drop.
We're not going to do anything of the kind. I think I'll have a little talk with Patty.
I wish you wouldn't, Uncle Martin. She hates me enough already.
Patty doesn't hate you.
She's certainly been acting like it,
Patty wants all the attention, and you're getting it.
but I don't want it.
Kathy, you are going to go down and pick up that medal. And if I know Patty, she's going to be pretty proud of you.
Look at that piece of junk. It's tin. But when I get a medal, it's going to be solid gold.
Thought you were going to the movies with Kathy.
Oh, I changed my mind. It's too crowded.
The movie's too crowded?
Kathy's too crowded. You can't get near her. You think she was Joan of Arc the way everybody swarms all over her.
Makes you feel proud, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There's enough reflected glory for all.
If you like reflected glory. Personally, I'd like to go out and get my own. You know something? It's exactly what I'm going to do. See you later.
Switch it to a 3-column layout and get it in here as fast as you can. I'll have Al standing by. Right. Yes? Oh, good, Joe. We'll take that up at the editorial meeting this afternoon. Fine. Goodbye.
Hello, Uncle Martin.
Hello, Kath.
I hope I'm not interrupting anything.
No, this is a wonderful surprise. Yeah, we should come down here more often.
Well, I really don't find much free time during the day.
But you managed to find it today. Well, what can I do for you?
I've come to ask a favor, Uncle Martin.
You name it, you've got it.
Natalie told me you were going to write a Sunday feature story about me.
That's right.
That's the favor.
I don't understand.
I don't want you to write it.
Now, if Patty sent you down here...
No, I haven't discussed it with Patty. As a matter of fact, she's not even talking to me. That's why I don't want you to write the article.
Well, I'm sorry, Kath. There's nothing I can do about it. In the first place, it wasn't my idea. It was suggested to me by my boss. I thought it was a very good suggestion. I still do. And it's going to appear in the Chronicle on Sunday. Patty doesn't have to read it.
I'm sorry I troubled you, Uncle Martin. At least I have learned a lesson.
What lesson is that?
Well, the next time I see someone drowning, I'll let him. See you, Tom. See you, Tom. I've never tried analysis before. I don't know if it'll work or not. I guess the idea is to be able to talk out your problem. I think I've just about figured out what's bothering me. You see, usually I'm not jealous of Kathy. Like the time that she got all the highest marks in the whole school. I was so proud I was ready to bust. Or the time that she won the music scholarship. I was so happy to think I'd won it. So basically, I really don't think I'm jealous of Kathy. Basically. I mean, when she sticks to her own territory. But you see, Doc, when she became a hero, well, that's more in my line. I mean, I'm much more the type. I guess I felt what you psychiatrists would call threatened. Does that make sense to you? Makes sense to me. You know something? I feel a lot better after getting this all off my chest. What do you think?
Well, how should I know? I'm just trying to do this crossword puzzle.
You guys are wasting your time. Tell them, Kathy.
Why don't we all have a soda together? Patty, won't you join us? Gee, I'd love to, Kath, but I'm afraid I have another engagement. You run along. All right, you're sure.
Come on, Tagger. Everybody's going over to the shake shop.
You're wrong. We're not.
But I'm thirsty.
Well, have a drink of water.
What's gotten into you?
Nothing, Rich. I'm just tired of hanging around with all the kids. Why don't we take a walk by the park lake?
Again? We've walked by there every day, and it's not even on the way home.
All right, nobody's forcing you to go with me.
Look, just because you got some crazy idea in your head...
Rich, I'll go alone. Why don't you go to the shake shop with Kathy?
Maybe I'll just do that.
Who needs him anyway?
Hello, Patty.
Hello, Miss Moore. Miss Moore? Miss Moore?
Yes, Patty.
Could I ask you a question?
Of course.
I know I'm not in your psychology class or anything, but well, I thought maybe you could help me with a problem that two friends of mine are having.
I'd be very happy to try.
They're two boys, cousins, and one of them is jealous of the other one.
Do they like one another?
Oh, yeah, they're crazy about each other. It's just that one boy did something to make the other one jealous. He doesn't want to be jealous, but can't seem to make himself stop.
It sounds as though he's rather immature.
No, he isn't. I mean, he's really a wonderful boy. If it weren't for this little problem, I think he'd really be quite a remarkable young boy.
Are these close friends of yours?
Yeah, I think you could call him that.
Why don't you have them come in and see me?
They can't do that. They live out of town. In Africa. They just moved there recently.
I see.
I was going to write them a letter and include your information.
Well, if this boy is as wonderful as you say he is, I'm sure he has nothing to be jealous of. All he needs to do is develop his self-confidence.
Develop my self-confidence.
It's always a mistake, Patty, to compete with anybody else. The only person you should ever be in competition with is yourself.
I don't understand.
If you do the very best that you know how, you never have to worry about what anyone else is doing. Write that to your friend.
I will. Thank you very much, Miss Moore.
And be sure to say hello to Kathy.
Kath, I brought something home for you. This is an advance proof of Sunday's Chronicle.
Oh. It's lovely, Martin.
You didn't say anything about me.
Aren't you pleased?
Oh, yes, it's very nice. Thank you, Uncle Martin.
I already sent a copy to your father. I'm sure he'll be thrilled.
Wait till Patty sees this. She'll go up in smoke.
Don't worry about Patty. She'll be fine. Where is she?
She hasn't come home yet.
Isn't it a little late for her to still be at school?
Well, she's with Richard. I'm sure she's all right.
She is usually home by this time.
Perhaps Patty stopped at the library.
Patty who?
Well, maybe she did go over to Richard's house. Why don't I call there? She probably didn't realize how late it was.
Hi, folks.
Hello, Richard.
Oh, where's Patty?
I thought she was with you.
No, I haven't seen her since school let out.
But you usually walk her home.
Well, I haven't been walking her home lately, Mrs. Lane.
Why not?
Because I got tired of walking her over to Park Lake every day.
Why would she want to go over to Park Lake every day?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you.
Of course I would.
Well, I think she wanted to go over there because she's hoping to find someone drowning so she can rescue them.
I don't believe it.
Oh, that doesn't sound like Patty.
Does to me.
Richard, don't you have any idea where she is?
No, sir. She could be anywhere.
What happened?
You're soaking wet.
Darling, did you have an accident?
I want to go home.
You did it! She saved a kid! She's a hero!
Congratulations, Patty. That's wonderful.
Now we can go into the hero business.
I ought to call the newspapers right away.
Imagine having 2 heroes in the family.
What are you talking about? I pulled her out of the lake. I think I know now what made me do it.
She felt threatened.
She what?
It's a psychiatric expression we psychiatrists use.
You see, all the time I thought I was jealous of Kathy, and I hated myself for it. That's why I kept going back to the lake.
But you just wanted to get your share of attention.
Well, that's what I thought. But that wasn't it at all, Papa. I was just afraid to admit the truth to myself.
What was the truth?
That I was a coward. You see, I kept asking myself, what would happen when the moment came when I'd have to jump in the water? And I didn't know. I thought, what if I just stood there and watched somebody drown? So I had to find out. Patty. So I kept hanging around the lake, waiting for somebody to fall in so I could test myself. Soon I started hoping somebody would fall in.
What happened this afternoon?
Well, I saw this boy fooling around on the shore. And I watched him. And there was a tree that was hanging over the water where it was pretty deep. And he climbed the tree, and a limb broke and he fell into the water.
What did you do?
I almost turned and ran home. But I knew I couldn't do that, so I jumped in after him. The only thing was he thought I was drowning, so he pulled me out.
I see.
You know the terrible part? I found out I am a coward. A coward? What makes you say that? Because when I jumped in that lake, I was scared to death. Patty, I let you in on a little secret. So was I. You were? Terrified.
Honey, a hero is a coward who does something brave. There's no special merit in getting involved in a situation you're not afraid of. And it doesn't matter who pulled whom out. The only thing that matters is that you were willing to risk your life to save the life of that boy.
Well, I guess we go back to City Hall again.
Isn't it lovely having 2 heroes in the family?
3, remember? I have to live with her.
Here's Kathy, who's lived most everywhere, from Zanzibar to Berkeley Square.
But Patty's only seen the sights a girl can see from Brooklyn Heights. What a crazy pair. But they're cousins, identical cousins, and you'll find they laugh alike, they walk alike, at times they even talk alike. You can lose your mind when cousins are 2 of a...
You go in there and show them how it's done. Well, I went in there. What was I? I was sensational. I really had him tied up in knots. Well, I'm sure you ought to talk to everyone, Patty.
Why shouldn't she? She's got the biggest mouth.
Sometime I'd like to debate whether or not he's human.
Patty, did they tell you whether you're going to be on the debating team?
No. But why would they pass up their golden opportunity?
Hello, everybody.
Hello, darling.
Hi, Dad. You're home early.
I know. I just couldn't stand it another minute down there at the office.
Hard day?
Well, it wasn't that it was so hard. It was just so noisy. That office is a madhouse. Phones ringing all the time, people talking a blue streak.
That's the newspaper game for you. Hello, Richard. Boy, did I have a wild day today. You know that math teacher that everybody says is an ogre? Well, I've got a meeting out of the palm of my hand. I was torn between bluffing it through or throwing myself at his mercy, so I stayed after class and I said to him, look, Mr. It's for you.
Hi, Tommy. No, I don't know who that was. I've never seen her before. How's things?
Hey, you heard what happened in math class today. Would you like to hear what happened in history?
Not particularly, Patty.
Oh.
Well, you know.
A funny thing happened in gym, though. I went to pick up this medicine ball and
Darling, your father's tired.
Oh, I understand.
You're kidding.
Hey, did you hear the joke about the marathon walker who got tired before he got to the finish line? It was like this.
Patty, don't you ever stop talking?
I guess I just have a lot of interesting things to say, that's all.
Oh, yeah? Okay. I'll talk to you later, Tom. Bye.
I don't have to talk, you know. I just do it to be sociable. I think Patty's just excited about the debating team.
Don't defend her. She couldn't keep quiet if her life depended on it.
Oh, couldn't I? I'll bet you I could keep my mouth shut for 3 days if I wanted to.
That's a bet.
What do you mean?
I mean that if for the next 72 hours you can go without saying one word, I will give you an extra week's allowance. In fact, I'll give you 2 extra weeks' allowance.
Are you serious?
Dead serious.
It's a deal. When do we start?
Right now.
Hi, folks. Patty, have I got great news for you. They just made you captain of the debating team.
Meet Kathy, who's lived most everywhere, from Zanzibar to Berkeley Square.
But Patty's only seen the sights a girl can see from Brooklyn Heights. What a crazy pair. But they're cousins, identical cousins all the way. One pair of matching bookends, different as night and day.
Where Kathy adores a minuet, the ballet russe, and crepe Suzette.
Our Patty loves to rock and roll, a hot dog makes her lose control. What a wild duet, still they're cousins, identical cousins, and you find they laugh alike, they walk alike, at times they even talk alike. You can lose your mind when cousins are two of a kind.
Morning, Patty. Hey, do you remember I told you I'd let you know when the Glee Club practice began? It's tonight. Why don't I pick you up at 8 o'clock? 8:30? Has something the matter with your throat? Something wrong with your head? Well, I hope you feel better. See you later.
I wish he'd stop hanging around you. Doesn't he know you're my girl? Well, if he doesn't, why don't you tell him? Yeah, I know. But you could talk yesterday and the day before that and the day before that. You know what I think? I think you're fickle. As a matter of fact, I think you're the most fickle girl I've ever gone with. And I have gone with hundreds. This little bet of yours is a good idea. Gives me a chance to get some things off my chest. You're a very spoiled girl, Patty. And ungrateful. I mean, if you have me, why would you want to look at anybody else? Yes, sir, this is a whole new side of you. I mean, we can really communicate. Well, I have to be running along. I really enjoyed our little chat. I asked you to come to the shake shop with Gloria and me, but I guess it wouldn't be any fun for you in your condition. Bye.
Patty, I'm leaving now. Ted is downstairs. Are you sure you don't want to come? What are you doing? Can you spare it? Don't you what? Patty, are you sure you're all right? I'm not so sure this bet was a good idea. You have 2 more days to go. I hate to leave you alone. Someone's coming? Who? Richard? All right. Have a good time. Good night.
Good evening, Patty. I thought we'd continue our chat of this afternoon. Yes, sir, I said to myself, Rich, why don't you drop in on poor old Patty and give her a few minutes of your precious time? Sure I can. Did you know I was going to say that? I am not. Don't be ridiculous. What are you, some kind of a mind reader? I don't happen to think this is funny. Boy, will I be glad when you get your voice back so I can tell you what I think of you. If there's anything I can't stand, it's a wise guy.
Boy, talk about thunderclouds. What was he so mad about?
Here she comes, the girl with the golden voice. Did you bring any of those crazy cards with you? Good. After class, I'll take you over to the shake shop. I've been thinking up some things I want to tell you.
All right, class. I'm going to hand back the essays that you turned in yesterday. And on the whole, I'm very proud of you. You did an excellent job. There was one essay in particular I think was especially good, and that was written by Patty Lane. Patty, will you come up here and read your essay to the class? Do you have a sore throat? Well, can you talk? Well, come up here and read your essay. You mean you can talk, you just refuse to? Did you finish? 100 times? Very well, then. You may do it over again. Stubborn has 2 B's.
Oh, there you are.
We thought you weren't coming.
How long can it take to write I won't be stubborn 100 times?
What's the matter? Can't she talk?
No, but she's very big with signs. Did you bring any? Good. I was just talking to Gloria about taking her to the basketball game tonight. Oh, I know I promised you, but that was before you had your problem. I mean, what's the point of going to a basketball game if you can't yell? What are you going to do when they shoot a crucial basket? Just sit there?
We'll let you know how the game turns out.
Oh, why don't we go over to the shake shop, huh? Patty can't stand not having the last word.
No? Look.
Hello, darling.
Hello, Ned.
Guess who had to write "I will not be stubborn" 100 times today?
You?
No, I'll give you a clue. It's a sister of mine.
Oh, I'm surprised. Patty's not stubborn.
It was all a misunderstanding. Miss Blake asked Patty to read her essay to the class, and Patty refused.
Why?
Because of her bet with you.
That silly thing?
Oh, Patty doesn't think it's silly. She's taking it very seriously.
Well, it's all well and good, but I never intended it to interfere with her schoolwork. Maybe I better have a little talk with her.
If you do, it's going to be very one-sided.
She's really stuck to this, hasn't she? 2 whole days. Of course, it's a little like damming up Niagara Falls. When you open the floodgates, run for your life. She probably won't stop talking for a month. But you know, I bet there isn't another teenager in the country who could go 3 days without talking.
Maybe you should bottle this. Then you make a fortune.
I think some of the other children are getting in digs at Patty. And another thing, Richard is taking Gloria to the basketball game tonight.
Say, Nat, why don't I just call this whole thing off? I didn't realize it was going to be so rough on her. I could just tell Patty that I'm convinced she can do this for another day, and I've decided to throw in the sponge and pay her.
I've already tried it.
What do you mean?
I told her that you were convinced that she could do it for another day, and you had decided to throw in the sponge and pay her.
What did she say?
She said no. Well, she didn't exactly say no. She shook her head no.
But why? I mean, she's just out to get the money.
Oh, that's what I thought, and we were both wrong. It's the principle of the thing. She is determined to stick it out, Martin.
Yeah, well, maybe if I had a little talk with her.
Won't do any good. Her mind is made up.
Miss Blake was right. She is stubborn.
I know. Knock. Are you busy? Good. And there's a couple of things I want to say to you. I know you can't answer back, and I may never get this opportunity again. So, I just want to tell you that I think you're the greatest sister in the whole world. I tease you a lot, but I wouldn't trade you in for a new ham set with batteries. Well, that's all I have to say. I'll start yelling at you when you can yell back. Come on, cut it out. It's anything I can't stand. It's a sentimental thing.
Oh, come on in, Richard.
Hi, Mrs. Lane.
Why didn't you use the front door?
Technical difficulties.
What?
Patty doesn't want to talk to me.
Oh, she doesn't want to talk to anyone.
I know, but, I mean, she doesn't want to see me. Well, I can't blame her. I played a joke on her with Gloria, and she took it seriously.
I see.
I thought maybe you could give me some ideas.
I don't know how much it would help, Richard. Patty can be pretty stubborn.
Oh, you telling me? She's got the temper of a wildcat.
Why don't you just tell her you're sorry?
I tried, but she won't listen. I even got Kathy to talk to her, but it's like trying to talk to a stone wall. You see, the thing is, Mrs. Lane, I have something very important to tell her. There's a kind of plot going on, and I think Patty should know about it.
Well, that does sound serious, doesn't it?
The trick is to get her to listen to me.
Richard, I have an idea.
Yeah?
There's one form of communication that Patty has never been able to resist. Why don't you go home and call her on the telephone?
Mrs. Lane, you're a genius. Patty? Hello? Are you there? Can you hear me? I have to talk to you. Ow! If you can hear me, rap twice. If you can't, rap once. You don't have to yell. It's very important, Patty. What do you say? Ah, come on. Can't you take a joke? You don't think Gloria means anything to me, do you? Well, you're wrong. That's why I have to see you. I'll come over in a half hour, okay? Thanks a lot, Patty. I'll see you. this is important. I was only joking. I told you I'm sorry. I admit I was wrong. I'm crazy about you. Patty, are you all right? Kiss me once for no and twice for yes. Oh, that's better. Can you talk now? Oh, well, when will you be able to talk? I'm not asking for me. I'm asking because I think you're in trouble. You know, Gloria tried out for the debating team, too. And she was pretty sore when they picked you and not her. They picked her as an alternate. Well, I just found out. At the meeting tomorrow, she's going to ask them to remove you from the team so she can take your place. It's a pretty dirty trick. It's kind of clever when you think about it. Oh, I called you as soon as I heard. Boy, holding a telephone conversation with you is pretty hard on the eardrums. Well, what are you going to do? You can't do that. Patty, what time is this bet up tomorrow? 4 o'clock. You know what time the meeting is? 3:30.
That is the meanest trick I've ever heard of. There must be something you can do, Patty. You go into that meeting tomorrow and you say. All right, then write it. No, I suppose you're right. If Gloria's out to get you and you can't talk, you don't stand much of a chance. Patty, why don't you forget about the bet? Actually, it's only a half-hour's difference. Your father wouldn't mind. Isn't it important to you to be on the debating team? You're not going to let Gloria get away with this. Are you?
Natalie, do you have any idea what's going on around here?
You mean all the plotting and counterplotting? Oh, yes, Richard briefed me.
It was like something out of James Bond. I mean, I'm the last man in the world to meddle in the affairs of young America, but Gloria's plan to get Patty off the debating team is diabolical.
I know. There's only one other person I know who could have thought up a scheme like that.
Who's that?
Patty.
Well, it just isn't fair. I mean, Patty earned her place on that team. Now she's going to lose it because of a silly bet.
Oh, perhaps she won't lose it.
Well, Gloria's got that meeting scheduled for 30 minutes before Patty can talk.
Patty can always cancel the bet.
Oh, she won't. I just tried that again.
What'd she say?
She didn't say anything. Just held up a sign that read, "Forget it, Popple. I'm a born loser."
When I went up to see her, she held up a sign that said, "If silence is golden, I'm going to be a very rich kid." At least she's got a sense of humor about it.
Well, I'm afraid I haven't. It's all right for Patty to joke, but I know how much being on that debating team means to her.
She's wanted it all year.
There must be something we can do.
What?
Well, for one thing, I could go to that meeting tomorrow and make a fool of myself.
Want to hear a confession?
Yeah?
I thought about going to her school and setting the clock back.
It's terrible. Wish I'd thought of it.
You know what the real trouble is? We're trying to solve Patty's problems for her. It's up to her to solve it for herself.
But that's just the point. She won't. She's given up. It's not like Patty. She's going to let Gloria win this without putting up a fight.
The trouble is we're not used to Patty losing. Well, you can't win them all.
Oh, I suppose not. How does she get herself into these things?
She got into this one with a little help from you.
Next time I'll learn to keep my big mouth shut.
Want to bet?
Why don't we get started?
It's not 3:30.
You're not even supposed to be here. You're not on the debating team.
I'm an amicus curiae.
What does that mean?
Not sure.
Look, why don't we wait for Patty? She's our captain.
Do you want a captain who can't even talk? We're having our first debate with Rockland High on Monday. You want to win, don't you? Come on, let's get to work.
Why don't you adjourn until 4 o'clock?
Because the meeting was called for 3:30. Look, if Patty's not interested enough to be here, she's not interested enough to be captain of the Brooklyn Heights High debating team.
I tell you, she'll be here at 4 o'clock.
Call the meeting to order. Goodbye, Richard.
You wouldn't do this to Patty, would you?
Gloria's right. If Patty was interested, she'd be here.
Why don't I send out for sandwiches?
Well, let's get the show on the road.
Yeah. The meeting of the Brooklyn Heights High debating team is hereby called to order.
I move that since Miss Patty Lane is absent from this meeting, she be removed from the debating team. Is there a second to the motion?
I second it.
A motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
All in favor of what? What's up, Drew?
Patty, you changed your mind.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna lose you. Did you? Oh, you can't get rid of me that easily. Can you, Gloria, darling?
Apparently not, darling.
Hold everything. We have a motion before the House. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay.
Nay.
The motion is not passed. Now, let's get down to business.
I think that's a great idea. And, Gloria, since you're just an alternate, why don't you, buzz off and get ready for Halloween?
Anyway, you lost your bet. I'll talk to you later.
Anytime, you'll find me at Patty's.
Well, we have a lot of work to do. Group, I'm ready. In that case, why don't we take a half hour and relax, and we'll all meet back here at 4 o'clock.
What's the point as long as we're here?
As long as we're here and I'm captain, I say we should meet back here at 4 o'clock.
Boy, I didn't think you were going to get here on time.
Neither did I.
You decided this was more important than the bet, huh?
Yeah. Well, who wants to win a silly old bet?
Well, that's funny. I thought it meant something to you.
Who? Me? Nah.
I guess you're glad I got rid of Gloria. Once for no and twice for yes. Once for no and... No! What's the matter, Kathy? That's the least you can do for Pat.
Hello, Nat.
Hello, darling.
Well, tonight's the big night. Patty talks.
Martin, you're going to
I'll
be
bet
so-
I was right about Niagara Falls, wasn't I?
Well,
if I'm not mistaken, she started bending your ear at 4 o'clock on the dot, and she hasn't stopped talking since. She is at home, isn't
Oh,
she?
yes, darling, she is at home.
There she is, the chatterbox of Brooklyn Heights. Honey, I'm really proud of you. You did it. Are you glad it's over? Did you have a good day? Oh, I owe you some money, don't I? You can talk now, you know. You won the bet. Laryngitis.
I've been trying to tell you.
Here's Kathy, who's lived most everywhere, from Zanzibar to Berkeley Square. Pop!